Your wheel alignment can affect tire wear and fuel mileage that will cost you more for repairs and fuel. Arvada West uses state-of-the-art 3D imaging to align all four wheels of your vehicle. Be aware that irregular tire wear could also cause the need for additional alignment parts. Stop in or call us for our alignment special. Mention this ad and we'll inspect your vehicle and check your alignment starting at $69.95. Call Arvada West Auto at 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
All right, John Rush, Drive Radio. Dennis Brewster from Extreme Automotive out in Parker, and Jeff Kitty from Larry's, which is over in the Westminster area. One line open is all 303-477-5600. We've been talking about your favorite snow car. As we get into the second hour today, we will also talk about transmissions. We'll give you some tips on that, the true cost of ownership for a vehicle. We do some of that in the 11 o'clock hour because we're rebroadcast again on Sundays, the last 2 hours of Drive Radio. If you miss them, you can hear them on Sunday from noon to 2. So some of those type of topics, I'll wait until the 11 o'clock hour just so the Sunday folks get a chance to actually tune in for that also. So, Ken, you're up next. What's going on today? Hello, Ken.
Oh, hey, John. Sorry.
Welcome. What's going on today?
Well, how about a 1953 DeSoto?
53 DeSoto.
My dad was a independent mechanic, and he took this car in on a bad bill. You'll rebuild the engine, and the guy didn't pay, but he used it as a push car. And I'm not kidding you. That thing with a pair of snow tires on it would go anywhere, anytime.
They were really heavy. That was part of the.
They were. They weighed about as much as a bus.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And I learned how to change the rear axle on that because I was out jacking around and busted the axle, and my dad said, "Well, you're fixing it."
There's one way to learn, right?
Okay, you fix it.
Did that have the old tapered style axles in it?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But it was a bust. But anyway, and one more thing, if I got time.
You're fine.
I had one of the best tire buying experiences of my life last week with Quick Tread.
Awesome.
I had never done that before, and I just want to put out a word for them. It was awesome. It was easy. It was quick, and I highly recommend them.
Yeah, they're good guys. Mike especially, actually Ken and Mike both. They're both good guys. Mike's the one that typically comes out though and does the work, and Mike's a super guy. And I'm glad to hear that, Ken. I recommend them highly. I've used them myself, and as you know, we don't recommend anybody on Drive Radio that we haven't worked with in the past, and they're good guys.
Yeah, well, and I'm going to have them. I need tires on my fifth wheel, so I'm going to have them come out towards spring and do that also. So anyway,
I appreciate it, Ken. Thank you very much. I'll pass that along to the guys at Quick Tread also. That's a great testimonial.
So it's kind of nice to see that things didn't change in the automotive field, where we still have cars that we have to take over because people don't want them no more. And
Yeah. As a shop owner, you mean?
Yeah.
Still, it hasn't changed in 50 years.
I didn't know they did that back then.
It's no different.
It's
It's probably a little easier to get the title back then than it is today. But
oh, yeah.
no, it hasn't changed much. All right, line open 303-477-5600. Mike is up next. Mike, what's going on today?
No, not much. My favorite, or I think the best one out there is a Volkswagen Swing Axe. So I had a 58 back in the late 60s, and I lived in Idaho. We were coming back from a weekend up north on the Panhandle, and decided to take a shortcut. So we saw this dirt road that went from, this is in the winter, from Cascade over to Stanley. We hopped on that sector, and we were driving through 2 feet of snow, bald Michelin tires on it, by the way. And the snow was coming over the hood and parting around the windshield. And we made about 20 miles on that road. And finally couldn't go any farther, so I was backing around, and that was when guys were just starting to get into jacked up macho trucks, you know. So this 4x4 Jimmy comes with big mud snow tires on it, kind of scoffs at us as we were trying to get her turned around. And by the time I turn around, he comes cruising back, and he goes, "That car's pretty good. We only made it a quarter mile further."
That is good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Plus, you plowed the way for him.
Yeah. That was funny.
You know, those
But
old
that car, as long as
Volkswagens.
the wheels would touch the ground, it'd go.
Those old
Had a smooth
Volkswagens
bottom
with snow
and a
tires
nice-
in the back, because of the weight on them, they'd work really, really well.
Yes, it did.
Oh yeah. Another friend of mine, she had a 63, and she bought a brand new pair of some Gustavs or something like that, studded snows with that fancy rubber compound.
Yeah.
And that thing was like a bulldozer in snow. That thing, you couldn't stop it. You know.
Yeah.
That car, it'd go anywhere.
Yeah.
You
No,
used to
they
drive it
did.
up
They
power
worked good.
trails where only 3 wheels would be on the ground.
I learned to drive I shouldn't say learn to drive. Before I actually, I need to be careful how I say this. Before I actually had a driver's license officially, there was a friend of mine that had a little Volkswagen, and we'd take that thing out and drive around, and she would not want to drive in the snow. And so I would. That little Volkswagen would go anywhere, anytime. And yeah, you know, I drove without a license, but you know, so what? It worked really well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're not driving commercially, you don't need a license anyway. You know.
I wouldn't recommend
Called
doing that
traveling when
today,
you're not
but-
driving.
Yeah.
But you know, the swing axle is what did it, I think, because when they came out with the IRS rear suspension, those things just didn't have the bite that the swing axles did.
That's a good point. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Hey, good story. You need
All right.
anything else, Mike?
No.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Appreciate you calling in. Let's go to Joe, who's up next. Joe, welcome. What's your favorite snow car?
Good morning, everybody. You know, I don't really have a favorite snow car, but I just want to add a little veracity to what you guys have said this morning about tires and,
Yeah.
you know, and using not common sense, but what I call using sense in driving. You know, I had a 1981 Dodge Colt, okay, Mitsubishi basically.
Right.
Little 1.6 liter engine, had a 4-speed transmission on it. When winter time came, I had, these were mounted already, had 4 Vredestein Snow Plus tires on wheels, and I just put them on when the snow got deep. I'll tell you what, nothing ever stopped me in that thing. Now, mind you, I didn't drive into 4 feet of snow either, okay? But I never got stopped, you know. And of course, I used sense to, slow down, when you have to, speed up when you have to, so on and so forth. But never had a problem. Now, I'll be very frank, I attributed a lot of it to the snow tire. Because I'll be very frank, those Vredestein Snow Plus tires, and they were studded, were absolutely tremendous.
Yep.
I wish I could find them again, but I can't. And I'll tell you what, the things I liked about the Vredestein was, even with studs on them, when the pavement was dry, you could drive 50, 60 miles an hour, and it just felt like a passenger tire. Unbelievable. I don't know what the chemistry in that was, but it was a tremendous tire.
Yeah, it's good.
Frankly, a little, basically a little puddle jump at Dodge Colt got me in the series. That's what it was.
Yeah, because I would not picture that being a great snow car. That's a great example of where a good tire on even a not so great of a snow car still makes the car work really well.
It was front-wheel drive, okay?
Yep.
That's one advantage I had. But the other thing was just, again, a darn good tire.
Yep.
and use a little sense when you're driving around.
Yep,
Don't go for the 4-foot bank of snow.
That's right.
Think you're going to get through it.
That's right. Yep. Good stuff, Joe. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for the phone call today. We've got Don, I think, who's up next, has a question on a clutch. Don, welcome.
Oh, hi, John. Hi, Dennis. Hi, Jeff.
Good
Hey,
morning,
how you doing, Don?
Good. Nice to talk with you fellas.
Thanks for calling, Don.
Oh, thanks. Hey, I got the clutch on my Jeep finished, and I'm not going to put the pressure plate, the clutch cover back on till the engine's done. And when I do put that clutch cover back on, should I get new bolts to put that cover back on?
It won't hurt either way. If I remember right, on that particular year Jeep, it wasn't really a special bolt. So
no, it wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter.
They're an inch and 16th, 5/16 fine thread.
Right.
Yeah. It might not hurt to get a new one, but you'd probably be just fine with that.
As long as the threads are good on the old one.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Typically, those were greasy enough back in the day that the bolts are probably in good shape. So
they didn't stretch at all.
No, they're probably still good.
No, they aren't. I don't even think they're grade 5, John. There's no markings on them.
No, they're not.
All.
They're not.
But they're just holding the cover on, so they don't need to have a lot of strength to them.
Yeah, right. I read a manual. I got a manual, rebuilder's manual by a guy named Moses Ludell. Do you know that
Oh, yes.
book?
Yes.
That's a pretty good book.
Yeah, he was a good Jeep guy.
Yeah. It really helped when I did the transmission between that book and Jeff Kitty. I was able to get it back together.
Awesome.
Hey,
Good
Don,
deal, Don.
Don, I got to hear, what is your best snow vehicle that you've ever driven?
Oh, the best car we ever had, Dennis, was a Subaru Justy. Remember those little cars?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, with those thin, narrow tires and front-wheel drive, shoot, you just go and go.
Yeah. Wow. Very good.
I was expecting a Jeep from you.
Oh.
Hey, I thought Don would say a postal Jeep with chains on the back.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
You still see that today.
Yeah.
At least the postman in my neighborhood has chains on when it gets bad.
Oh, yeah. Postmen hate those Jeeps, too.
I know they do, but they still drive them.
Yep.
Yeah, they drive them hard, too.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
All right, Don.
Good on you. Thanks an awful lot.
Hey, you bet.
Thanks,
Appreciate the phone call very much. One line open, 303-477-5600. Chad, you're up next. What's going on, Chad?
Hi. Hey, first off, on the best car for snow, I had a 1960 Corvair, and you just couldn't stop. It just
I drove a Corvair in the snow a few times. Yeah, they work pretty well.
Now the only downside to it was that if I drove it in slush, the front end would freeze.
That's right.
And then there you sat. And it's kind of fun figuring out how to get to work, making all right-hand turns. But you do what you got to do.
That's right.
Now I have an oil question. I read somewhere on the internet, so it must be true, that there are tiers of engine oil. In other words, AMSOIL is a top tier, and some of the other ones are a lower. Some of the other synthetics are a lower tier. And is there any truth to that?
There's probably a little bit, and I think most of your AMSOIL people would tell you that that's the gospel, God's honest truth. I'm not sure I'm one of the people in that camp. Does AMSOIL build a really good product? Yes, they do. Is it better than, say, Mobil One or some of the other synthetics that are on the market? There's some that will tell you that it is. I don't know that I'm one, and I'm not bad-mouthing AMSOIL. They build a great product, but they get a lot of money for their product also. And some of that has to do with the MLM marketing that goes along with the AMSOIL product. And again, not knocking the product. It's a good product. Is there tiers of synthetic oil? Yeah, there probably is. I mean, there's probably some good versus some bad. But here's the deal: if it's labeled as a synthetic and it meets all of these specs, all the API specs and so on of what that oil is supposed to meet, it has to meet that, or they can't put that specification on the bottle.
Yeah.
Okay. And one other question. I use Mobil One. I have an 06 Tundra, and I use Mobil One in that.
It's good.
And they talk about when you go to buy it, they talk about the super economy oil, fuel economy oil, and that's a 0W30.
Correct.
But the spec in the manual for the truck is a 5W30. Is it okay to use the?
In our climate, with what we have, the majority of the year, I would run the 530 and not worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty pleased with the oil so far. I mean, it just you just
Yep.
change it and it keeps going. So
Do that. Use a high quality oil filter, and in your particular vehicle, you could run 6,000 to 7,000 miles on an oil change, and no problem.
Yep.
okay, well, good
Okay.
enough. Well, thanks for the information.
You betcha, Chad. Thank you so much. All right, we got a line open 303-477-5600. Paul and Parker, hang tight. We'll get right with you. He's got a question on antifreeze and synthetic oil. Great questions, by the way. So we'll move right into that. Don't go away. John Rush, Jeff Kitty, Dennis Brewster, all on Drive Radio. We'll be right back. KLZ 560.
At Extreme Auto, we're committed to providing
1991 Subaru Legacy. My mom had it, and it was one of the best cars I ever drove. And it my dad ended up wrecking it, but you put a good set of tires on that, it would last forever.
repair and maintenance alternatives. We don't have hidden fees, and we don't do unnecessary repairs. Serving Parker and the surrounding areas, come and see us, the professionals at Extreme Auto, and rest easy knowing you'll get quality work done for a fair price. Our promise to you: extreme service, extreme value, extreme satisfaction. Call us to schedule your appointment today.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in northern Colorado? At Fort Collins 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4. Located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock, they're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at Fort Collins 4x4 are committed to providing the professional and personal service you're looking for. Give them a call at 970-482-5500. 970-482-5500. Check them out on the web at FortCollins4x4.com or follow them on Facebook at FortCollins4x4.com.
Hunting down that hard-to-find part for an out-of-the-ordinary car can be quite a time-consuming chore. Unless, of course, you just go around the corner to your local Napa Auto Parts store, where we have over 310,000 parts, all of them made to fit and perform just like the original. Yeah, there are people who say it's the journey and not the destination, but those people have never tried to find an alternator for an 82 Fiat on a Saturday. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
All right, John Rush Drive Radio, lines open, 303-477-5600. Call us, we'll get you right on air. And Paul's got a question coming up right now on antifreeze and synthetic oil. Paul, welcome to Drive Radio.
Thanks. Yeah, I was wondering, I've heard you talk a lot about how antifreeze turns acidic, but I was wondering, does it, over time, does it actually lose its antifreeze properties?
If it's in the bottle in the garage, no. If it's in the vehicle itself, yes.
Oh, okay. And how long is that the antifreeze part of it last?
Oh, that's a tough question. I have seen, depending upon the vehicle and how it's driven and how many miles it's had on it and so on. I've seen some coolant that needs change, but it still has, its freeze. I don't want to say this. The freeze point is still low enough where it functions okay. I've seen coolant go 8, 9, 10 years. I don't know that I'd want to use it that long, but I've seen it go that far.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious because I've got an older truck that I don't use, and it just sits out in the garage.
If it's just sitting and it doesn't get a lot of miles on it to where those add packs are breaking down because of the circulation in the engine and the heat, heat, cool, and all of that. That coolant would last, quite a while, actually.
Okay, good enough. Then my question on the synthetic oil is, I read something on the internet a while ago that at one time that, well, back a long time ago, there was a lawsuit with, I guess it was Mobil and some other company. And I guess originally the Mobil used to be full synthetic, but they lost that lawsuit. So they just went to making it like everybody else. And it's not actually full synthetic now.
Those are the claims. I don't know if I've ever been able to actually find anybody that can prove that that's actually the case. I've read the same article on the internet and Google University, I should say. And I don't know that that's, I don't know. I've not been able to verify that. I've heard different people, even some folks that have called in the show and have said, Mobil 1's not full synthetic. Well, you know what? It's about as good as it gets, I think, when it comes to the other products that competes against. And this is typically where you hear these stories from. AMSOIL guys, Royal Purple guys, any of the, what I would call the boutique synthetic oil guys that are out there, they will criticize the Castrol's, the Mobil 1s, and so on their full synthetics, claiming they're not fully synthetic. Let's just say this. You can put Mobil 1 in any vehicle you want to put it in. Run that vehicle with a high-quality filter, late model vehicle, run high-quality filter, run 6, 7, 8,000 miles on an oil change interval without any problem at all. You're not going to do that with conventional oil because it's not as good an oil as what the Mobil 1 is. Is it full synthetic? I'm not the engineer. I'm not the chemical guy behind the Mobil 1. I can't tell you.
Yeah, well, I wasn't specifically, pointing out Mobil 1. I just from what I understood from that article was that after that lawsuit that none of them are actually full synthetic now. That's what I'd like to find out.
All oil, even synthetics, still come from a regular crude oil base stock.
Oh, okay.
There's all of it, even everybody. Any oil is still coming from a crude oil type base stock, and then they just crack it further to get the molecule. How do I want to say this? To get the oil more pure, to get they claim to get the molecules more lined up, quote unquote. It's hard to describe this over the radio, but there's a way where they just continue to crack it, and they hydrocrack it more than they do typical conventional oil. They get a more pure stock out of it that way. And there are different stocks of oil when it comes to building synthetic or non-synthetic, and you have to have the proper base stock to build a synthetic oil, and that is all mandated by API.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for the information.
You're very welcome, Paul. Okay. Appreciate that. Yeah, in fact, for those of you that would like to know more about that, go to our YouTube channel. Just go to youtube.com and then type in Drive Radio as the, into the search bar, or you can go to youtube.com/Drive Radio, all one word. Don't put the dash in, just Drive Radio, one word. That's our YouTube channel. And we've got 200 plus videos on there now. But if you go back in time to about last March, we've got full videos on there. Actually, was it March or April? At any rate, go back in there and look for the videos I did on Universal Oil. That's an oil company that is a wholesale-only oil company. They do not sell to the retail public, but they sell to fleet shops like myself, to Jeff, Dennis, and others. They actually walk us through, in the video, all of what I just talked about. When it comes to base stocks, how it works, we actually show you the refinery that they have. They actually have a product at that particular refinery that we went through where they actually take a recycled oil, and they use that as their base stock. They refine that, take all of the contaminations out of the used oil that they go pick up and bring back in. And the key to Universal is their non-synthetic oil is as close to a full synthetic as you can get before calling it a full synthetic. Because if you think about this, the waste oil they're getting back in that they continue to recycle, we're all using more synthetic oil now than we ever did, which means there's more base synthetic stock in their waste oil that they're pulling back in, that they're then recycling, taking contaminants out of. So their base stock on non-synthetic continues to improve. So in my fleet, I'm actually using non-synthetic Universal Oil at a regular non-synthetic price, but getting all the benefits of a full synthetic because it's just a tad under what a full synthetic is. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good oil. It works really, really well. But again, if you want more information on synthetic, non-synthetic, how all of that works, how they crack it, I've even got videos on there, showing you what the base stock looks like. And people don't understand this. Before a motor oil is made, it looks like water. It's clear. It's crystal clear. The oil has no tint to it, no color in it at all. It's actually, if you put it inside of a glass jar, which in the video it is, it's actually, you can see through the jar. That's how crystal clear the base stock coming out of the plant is.
Right.
And then they add all the ad packs and everything else into it to actually make whatever oil they're going to, whatever they're going to blend. 530, 1030, 1540 diesel, however they're going to do it. And they have different stocks, whether they're going to use a diesel oil or they're going to use a regular gasoline type oil. So again, just a little bit of information on oil. Go watch that. That's on our YouTube channel. And it's a little techie, and the average person would probably get a little bored watching it. I found it fascinating just because it's right along the lines of what we're talking about. So those are there for you to view and enjoy.
And we kind of got to know that too, because we're putting it in our vehicles. You have a fleet of vehicles. I have a fleet of vehicles. That I have to make sure that these trucks are going to have the right oils in them and stuff. So when people come to me, I'm verifying what I'm getting,
Yeah,
we have to do that, and we have to do that for our customers. Jeff, you do too.
Well, we pull it right off of our fluids list.
Yeah,
just about on every vehicle, and I put it on almost every work order. What type oil is supposed to be in there, whether it's synthetic, semi-synthetic, or whatever. Right. The other thing I'd like to add on the coolant, the big thing on the coolant that I see in my mind is what you put in there. Like if it's a straight antifreeze, if you're putting in regular tap water,
right. Right.
If you use tap water, you don't know exactly what's in that, and that's going to break down quicker than distilled or deionized water.
That's right.
So, I mean, that's something you got to take into effect. And most of the stuff that we're using now is pre-mixed 50-50.
Right.
Antifreeze, unless we do a flush.
Yep, good point. All right, guys, we're going to run to a break here in just a moment. Call us. Lines are open. As you can see, 303-477-5600. And let me see how I want to say this. When we come back, we will talk about the cost of ownership, which I got an article that was sent to me, and just kind of a teaser here. How much does owning a car really cost? So we've got some information on even which states, are higher than others. It has to do with insurance and fuel prices and repair costs and all those sorts of things. But there's a lot of things that go into owning a car cost-wise that I think people tend to forget about. So just the highlights: depreciation, interest, taxes, insurance, maintenance and repair, and fuel. So there's 6 things there that go into the cost of ownership that most people just look at maintenance and repair as their only cost.
Yeah, that's not
That's
true.
not the only cost. There's a lot more than that. In fact, just a side note, the 2 highest costs in owning a vehicle are fuel and depreciation. Those are your 2 heaviest costs. Now, how do you avoid, heavy hits in both of those areas? We can talk about some of that when we come back. So don't go away. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. Blaze News is up next. Again, call us. We'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. Call us. We'll get you right on the horn. And what's your favorite snow car? Tell us. We'll get you right on air. 303-477-5600. John Rush, Jeff Kitty, and Dennis Brewster all on Drive Radio. Again, KLZ 560.
Because when you're still so near, I can't lose my mind. There's nothing perfect that you wear. There's all the ribbons in your hair. And I don't mind you coming in, wasting all my time.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com. Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Hi, this is Scott Watley. Join me every Saturday from 1 to 2 p.m. for Sportsman of Colorado. We offer a variety of hunting and fishing experts, outfitters, guns and ammo, and archery specialists. We'll also keep you informed of techniques, products, gear, and conservation news. That's Sportsman of Colorado, Saturdays, 1 to 2 p.m., right here on KLZ 560.
This is Kim Evans with Lawford Solutions. Join me and Scott Watley every Saturday from 4 to 4:30 p.m. for information pertaining to seniors and their families on Seniors on the Move Radio, KLZ 560.
John Rush here on the next Rush to Reason, Illegal Joe versus Legal Joe. What happens when we give Illegal Joe health care? Which one really takes home more money from their jobs? It's also Small Business Monday, and we want you to be a part of our show, so of course, we'll take all your calls. That's Rush to Reason in the evening rush hour every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. right here on KLZ 560.
KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560, a Crawford Broadcasting God and Country station.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Chris Vermillion. More than 50 House Republicans defying Speaker John Boehner on a measure funding the Department of Homeland Security for nearly a month. But a one-week spending bill gains enough support on both sides to go straight to the president's desk to be signed. Texas Republican Congressman Louis Gohmert venting some frustration on the House floor while explaining why funding is an issue in the first place.
So the question on acting responsibly is, do we make that message clear? We're not having laws spoken into being in this country and having some bureaucrat unelected come around with a memo that undoes laws by different Congresses all these years, signed by different presidents with a memo. Come on.
See Gohmert's entire speech at theblaze.com. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
You've been listening to the Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560.
Freedom 560 with Ken Clark, now at a new time, 1 to 3 p.m. on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower. 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find one near you, go to drive-radio.com. Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
All right, John Rush Drive Radio. Sorry, almost messed up there. Jeff Kitty from Larry's Automotive with us, and Dennis Brewster from Extreme. Thank you all so much for joining us. If it's Sunday, which it's not today, but tomorrow it will be. If you're just tuning in and it's Sunday afternoon, you can't call us.
You can listen.
We really want you to listen, but you can't call us because if you do, the phone just rings because there's nobody here to answer the phone. And we know that it rings because some of the other guys, Matt, for one, is usually floating around the studios on Sunday afternoons, and they all talk about how the phones are ringing and there's no one here to answer them. And that's a good thing. Yeah. That means you're all listening on Sundays. But if it is Sunday, we can't help you. But you can email us. Just go to drive-radio.com, fill in the Contact Us page, I'll get that email, and I do get them on Sundays, and we'll respond to those. And typically speaking, I can get those answered pretty quick on a Sunday afternoon and get them back to you. So if it is Sunday and you'd like to get in contact with us, just go to our website, drive-radio.com, or use our Facebook page, facebook.com/Drive Radio. All right, let's go to the phones real quick. We got a line open, 303-477-5600. Randy is up first. Randy, welcome to Drive Radio. What's going on? Hello, Randy.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Okay. Yeah, you were saying before the break about your favorite, calling about our favorite snow vehicle.
Yes.
And I know there's a 100 or 1,000 great all-wheel drive vehicles out there, but my favorite, especially for, on paved surface driving, not off-road by any means, is the Previa, the Toyota Previa all-wheel drive minivan, because it's mid-engine and the front to rear weight distribution is almost perfect. I mean, that thing just goes straight down the road.
Now, I've never driven one of those in the snow, but I would venture to guess that probably works really well.
Yeah.
The only thing that will hold it back is if it gets too deep.
Right.
But other than that, they are just great. You wouldn't believe it. They're like a sneak.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I forgot about that vehicle being a mid-engine, and yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Well, I just want to give you my opinion.
Yeah, great. No, I appreciate that, Randy. Thank you very much. All right, guys, 303-477-5600. That's our phone number. I should mention also, since it's going into the second hour, sponsors. We talked about Quick Tread during the first hour because we spent a lot of time talking about tires. They're our mobile tire shop. They'll take care of all of your tire needs, 720-588-9055, and that's all they do. They're not going to come out and sell you, 500 other things, that you may or may not need. They're going to sell you tires. That's all they do. Call them on the phone, make an appointment. They come right to you. Want to make sure that we're clear on that. It's not something where you go to them. You call, make an appointment, and they'll give you a window of time, just like somebody coming to service your furnace at home. We'll be there between 12:30 and 1 o'clock, 12:30 and 2 o'clock, whatever. They'll give you the window. You make sure you're there. They drive up. Everything is inside the truck that they've got. They've got a big cube van, basically, or a big cube truck, I should say, with lift gate and everything on the back of it. So they show up. They get the car all jacked up, make it all safe, take the tires and wheels off, put them inside the van, get everything. They've got the tires with them that they need for your vehicle, swap everything out, and off they go.
And they take your old tires with them.
Take your old tires.
So you don't have to destroy
No mess, no stress, no nothing. We heard a listener, Ken, called in earlier in the first hour and said, hey, those guys did a great job. It was a fantastic experience, and I think that's the only way he's going to buy tires in the future.
And you've used them.
I've used them a ton.
Yeah,
I've used them.
Have you?
Yeah,
They've done a fantastic
I
job
actually
for us.
used them before they ever even came on here as a sponsor. That's where I decided, hey, you guys really ought to just come on the radio with us because this is a great concept and our listeners could really use this, and it's been great. So that's our one sponsor, Paul Leuenberger, American National Insurance. So everybody needs insurance, especially, by law, you're supposed to have insurance. I realize not everybody does, but you're supposed to.
Yeah.
So Paul Leuenberger, American National Insurance, 303-619-9891. And again, a great guy to know. He'll save you money on anything that you need when it comes to insurance, car, boat, home, auto, ATV, RTV, anything that moves. You know what? He can take care of it, or it doesn't move in regards to your house. He can still insure that. And he saved me, again, personal testimony, saved me about almost 50% on my homeowners, and I have better insurance now than I had before.
Yeah, he saved me a lot too.
Well, yeah,
I don't even know
you're
the
using
percentage.
it.
Yeah, I'm using them too, and it was hard to convince my wife to go, but once she heard them and talked to them, she was like, "Okay, we're done."
Yeah,
yeah, and I saved a lot of money.
And they have a rebate system for your homeowners, especially where if you don't have a claim within what I think it's 3 years, you
3
get a
years,
percentage of your money back from that point on. So great company. Paul Leuenberger, 619-9891.
Nice guy, too.
It really
Nice
is.
guys.
Yeah, Paul's a super guy. And speaking of nice guys, Isaac Bouchard, our broker. If you need a new car, used car, sell a car, lease a car, whatever you need to know, 303-475-1462. Isaac was going to be with us last week, but the weather didn't quite work out for us to have him on, but we'll get him on in a week or two.
And what a better way to do this. You sit in your home, you call them up and you say, I would like a 2000, I don't care what year, I just want a newer vehicle, and I want it blue, I want an automatic, I want it with less than this mileage, and this is what I'm willing to pay.
That's right.
And he'll go find it.
That's right. Or I need to buy this car or this car. What do you recommend?
Right.
And Isaac will walk you through all of that. And in fact, he may come up and say, well, those are great choices, but what about this?
Exactly.
That you maybe haven't thought about. And what Isaac will do is figure out what your needs are first. then fit the car to the need, because as we talk about maintenance and repairs in a minute, that's part of the problem some people have is they buy the wrong car in the first place. Perry, you're up next. What's going on, Perry?
Yeah, did I hear you correctly? You said your wife said the best snow car was a Mustang?
That's what she said, with snow tires on the back.
Don't argue with her. No.
Yeah. Let me say mega dittos, and she is a very smart woman.
Yes, she is. You're right. She
married John, is what he was going to say.
I was going to say that, but I'm thinking, no, I think it was the other way around. I married her, which made me a lot smarter. Let's put it that way.
Whatever way. Let me tell you a short story. Our family owned a 1979 Ford Fairmont rear-wheel drive.
Okay.
And we had a short driveway, and I got stuck in it right before the main road, and very little space. I managed to fire up the 65 Mustang, and I backed out slowly, effortlessly, glided right past that stuck Fairmont.
Really?
Yeah. And it occurs to me, it's probably not just the tires, which is important, but also the weight distribution.
Right. Yeah.
I don't recall the exact amount, but I know the Mustang was more heavily weighted on the drive wheels.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Because of a performance car, they tried to do that to get the car balanced out. So yeah, no, you're right. That's very true.
Yeah, I would put that Mustang up against a lot of front-wheel drive cars.
Interesting. And that is a car that, honestly, I've never driven in the snow. So I've driven a lot of cars in the snow, but never an early Mustang.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, back then, the early 80s, the tires were nothing new or special.
That's true. Very true. Good point.
Famous. Yeah.
Pretty much an equalizer on tires. So in other words, what you're saying is it really came down to the car, not the tire, because we didn't have the best of tires back then anyways.
Yeah. And driver experience, and
yep,
as you said earlier too. Well, that's all I had then.
Appreciate it, Perry. Great comments. I appreciate that, and I'm sure my wife's listening, so she'll be encouraged to know that she's not the only one that thinks a early Mustang is a great snow car.
Right. And we're not arguing with her. Terry, we are not arguing.
I've never driven one, so. Well, I know the hill that she used to have to go up to get to her, to get to where she lived when she lived with her parents. And if that Mustang went up that hill on most snowy Colorado days, I will have to say that, okay, that is one fine car.
And she was a good driver. Trust me.
She's a good driver. And the only reason I say that is because the hill that they live on, even today, tell you what, if you don't have the right car with the right tires, you're not getting up the hill.
Right.
They live up in the foothills of Boulder. And if you don't have the right vehicle with the right tires, even today, you're not getting up the hill.
I want to kind of give a kudos out to all these people who have called in about this, because a lot of these cars that they're mentioning, I mean, we're all over the board.
We are.
I mean, all over the board.
Yeah, there's not any one particular vehicle that and here's the funny thing, there's not a lot of four-wheel drives listed there.
No, and what I wanted to say was I bet you a lot of this was driver. A lot of the drivers were just careful, cautious. They weren't in a big hurry to get somewhere, and they just took their time, and they knew what their car could do. So they were able to drive the car properly.
So Dave in Littleton says, working today, listening when he can, or listening as he can. Years ago, my mom had a 60s AMC Rambler, 4-cylinder, 3 on the tree. And with snow tires on that thing, it never got stuck. Today, my wife and I have a Taurus wagon, and with winter tires on it, I have yet to get stuck. Been a very good car in the snow, and he loves the show as always. Have a great day. Dave, thank you very much. Don't work too hard today. Thanks for your comments. And that's a great example of, if you don't have time to call in, email us. Yeah. We'll still read your question on air. That's easy to do. And just go to drive-radio.com and fill in the contact form, or just send it to me directly, JOHN, john@drive-radio.com. All right, guys, as Larry's getting another caller queued up here, let's take a quick break. We'll come back, and we're going to talk about transmissions, how they work in the snow, and how to keep them safer in the snow. And also, we're going to talk about the actual cost of ownership when it comes to owning a vehicle. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each Colorado Select member currently offers Napa's Peace of Mind warranty, but are now also offering an extended 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty on repair work. You won't find this offer anywhere else. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-6272.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all our repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Platte Canyon, or visit us online at Gino'sAutoservice.com. That's Gino'sAutoservice.com.
Your car performs better when things are simple, and it's easy to see how the maze of plumbing under the hood can slow it down. A K&N AirTake system replaces the maze with a single custom engineered tube. The result? A guaranteed increase in horsepower, a dramatic increase you can actually feel. Visit K&N website to look up the extra horsepower available for your vehicle. K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire. Ooh.
Right, John Bush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560. Along with me today is Jeff Kitty from Larry's over in the Westminster area, and Dennis Brewster out in Parker from Extreme Automotive. So appreciate both those guys coming down, taking time out of their Saturday. And we're got a little snow coming in later today, but for right now, it's looking pretty good. Let's go right to the phones. We have a line open, 303-477-5600. Mike, you're up. What's going on?
Mike or Mark?
Or sorry, Mark. I got it. Sorry. It helps if I read the screen correctly. Go ahead, Mark.
No problem. I got a quick question for you. I'll try to keep it short. Considering buying a new minivan for my wife, she's wanting, if we buy one, we're looking at the Chrysler versus the Honda. And I'm curious to know, I know that Chrysler's got a new 3.6 VVT engine out, and I don't know much about it. Can you enlighten me a little bit?
It's gotten much better. They had problems with it early on. Had some crankshaft issues where they actually would break the crankshafts. They had, so in the early days, they did have some problems with that. I believe, to my knowledge, all of those have been worked out, and I wouldn't hesitate to buy, that particular engine in that minivan. The biggest thing I think you're going to run into is just looking at which one offers the best, features and so on for the value of the particular van. That the Town and Country is a good van. I will have to say this. I didn't give it a great review because the last one that I drove just seemed to me like it had way too many rattles for what it should have had for a brand new car. So I knocked it. Now, I'm not saying that they're all made that way, but the one that I had was. On the same token, the Honda, we build a solid car. So in today's world, they're both solid. It's just a matter of which one has the creature comforts and the accessories, the things that you want when it comes to the vehicle itself.
And we talk about this all the time because John can sit in a vehicle and drive it. And then I can sit in the vehicle and drive it, and I might have a different comfort feel than John would have.
That's exactly right.
Because of our size, weight, what we like, how the wheel sits, how the dash lays out. So it's very important for you to drive both vehicles.
Yeah, and if she's going to be driving it the most, Mark, get her behind the wheel. And I don't mean just for a 20-minute around-the-block test drive. Figure out a way where you can really you need to spend an hour and a half behind the wheel of a car to really determine, is it something you want to drive, or is it something you want to drive and own for the next 5, 7, 10 years, a 20-minute, or even I've seen people take a 5-minute test drive. A 5-minute test drive tells you nothing.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking maybe the thing to do is go rent one.
That's the best idea if you can do that. Yep. If you can find one, even if it's a year or so old, go rent one, see if somebody around has one, and or tell a dealership, say, listen, I'm really thinking about buying a car, but I want to spend 2 or 3 hours behind the wheel. Is it something I can get a vehicle overnight and I can drive it? Not as many of them do that as they used to because of liability and so on. But if you find somebody that really wants to sell you one, I think you'll find somebody willing to let you do that.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Around here, a Chrysler dealer is really going to have to want to sell me one because I can buy them in Idaho a lot cheaper than I can buy them here.
That doesn't surprise me. It does not surprise me.
Well, there's a dealer up there that you can buy on the internet, and right now the best price on the base model Dodge is $3,000 more than the Town and Country is up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a big difference in price.
Yeah,
how does that compare price-wise? Because I haven't looked at this in a while. I'm guessing the Honda is going to be more money.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit more. It's not as much as you might think, but I'm looking at the loaded loaded Chrysler Town and Country in Idaho is $27,600.
Okay.
The Honda down here where I live, down in the Greeley area, is in the 28 to 32, 35 ballpark.
Right. And have you looked at the Toyota? Have you looked at the Sienna, by the way, the Toyota Sienna at all?
I haven't really, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know that I don't know much about it. Is that an interference engine that they run on that car?
I'd have to go back and look. I don't know.
Because I know the Honda
3.5 liter engine that they're running in that. Is that 3.5 an interference motor?
I'm not sure. The Toyota loves to not do it.
We can tell you real quick. Hang tight. Keep talking, Dennis.
Well, I just know that Toyota's always built the non-interference engines a lot, so they don't like to. I don't know if they would have one or not.
I got our Gates rep to actually send me a book, so I didn't have to spend a bunch of time on the internet looking stuff up. So give me 1 second here, and I'll go to Toyota's. I'll go to the Toyota section of this book real fast, and I'll tell you real quick.
I would still sit in that Toyota and drive it. And I got to tell you, that was a great idea for about renting a car. I never thought of it that way.
Go rent one. Mainly because here's the other thing: here,
you could talk, and I'll look.
The Sienna has been redone in 2015.
Oh, okay.
So it's a new car for them this year. Now, they didn't make a ton of changes, but they did make some. They made enough changes where it's worth looking at. Let me tell you that.
Okay.
And I would actually go out and test drive it. Now, I don't know. I think in the back it tells you, Dennis, if there's if the motors are interference or not. There's a section in there. I don't know that the 3.5 is an interference motor.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't they get away from the timing belts on those?
It has a timing belt
on the 3.5.
Well, I don't know about the 3.5. This only goes up to 2010.
Okay. I know Toyota was kind of leaning towards getting away from timing belts.
A lot of
one of the things I was curious about is this Honda, or the Honda dealers telling me it was about $1,000 to put that belt on that Honda.
You'll spend about $1,000 on most any vehicle to put a belt on. But keep in mind, you're not going to do that until it's got 100 plus 1,000 miles on it either.
We don't trade very often.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. We don't trade very often.
And how many miles a year are you putting on?
Well, we're not running a huge amount of miles right now. We're running a 2003 model car that's got 140 on it.
And the Toyota is a non-interference engine. I just looked it up online.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Well, I'll be more interested in that because I'll be honest with you. That scares me a little bit. The possibility of breaking a belt, even if you're not, even if you're early on your timing and as far as maintenance and stuff goes, and find out that you've got you break the doggone thing and take the motor out.
No, I understand what you're saying. Although I will say this, and these guys can probably attest this better than I can, it's not as big of a problem as it used to be.
No.
Okay.
We don't see that, and partially because the belts are made so much better now. The rubber compound and how they're able to make the belts, they're just lasting a lot longer than they ever did. The intervals aren't as often, and the risk of having one even break completely in two and having a problem with an interference engine just isn't as much as it used to be.
But but don't let that say that if the belt does break, that it isn't going to bend a valve.
No.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is what I'm saying is the belts just last longer than they used to.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. That'll work.
And now, price-wise, I think the downside of the Sienna is you get a fully loaded Sienna, you're going to be pushing $40,000.
Yeah. Well, that's the list price on the Chrysler.
Okay.
You know, but I've got a dealer that I buy off of the internet. I bought a pickup from him. In fact, I bought 2 pickups from him over the years. And
what part of
his
Idaho is
pickup-
that in? I think my son actually bought one up there. What part of Idaho?
Kellogg.
I'll have to ask him if that's where he picked his up, because he bought one up in Idaho too and claimed he saved a ton of money on it.
Yeah, this dealer is.
So what do they do to save so much money? What's their slant on things, or how do they do that?
Well, what he does is he gives you all the dealer holdbacks and everything on the price of the car back, and then he takes a flat rate.
So you just
there's
make it a
no-
flat fee per car that he's selling, and
It's
off
just
you go.
a flat fee, and on this particular car, it's about $500 if he takes.
So is it cheap enough where it's worth a plane ticket up and the drive back?
It was on my Dodge pickup.
Hmm.
My Dodge pickup, I bought it. Now this is a 10-year-old pickup. I paid $29,600 for a full 4-door diesel.
Yeah.
Long bed Dodge Cummins pickup. I paid $29,600.
That's a pretty good deal.
10 years ago.
Yeah, that's not bad. So that's 2005, 2006 model truck, I assume? 2004. Yeah, no, that wasn't bad, because that truck back then was still in the 35 range down here.
Yeah.
That's right. And this guy, there was no going up there and arguing price, fiddling around, goofing around with some sales manager or anything. He just steers the price. That's it.
No, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, great. In that case, you may find, again, I'm not trying to ditch the town and country. Don't take it that way. I just didn't I did not do a really good review on that particular van just because I felt like it had some problems that it shouldn't have had, especially for a press vehicle where they're trying to impress somebody. You'd think they'd have all that worked out of it, but it just shows you they just pulling off the line and they give it to the press and off it goes. So that's
and there is cases where you get a vehicle you can get vehicles sitting side by side. One has a bunch of rattles and the other one doesn't.
That's
true. So you got to drive a couple,
and that's not just to Dennis's point, that's not just a Fiat Chrysler thing. I mean, I in defense of even, or not in defense of Toyota, but including Toyota, I've been in a couple of theirs, even in the past year and a half, where they had some rattles and things going on in them where I didn't feel like they needed to be there for the quality of the car that you were driving. So, in those cases, I'm going to mention that and talk about it.
Okay. Well, hey, I sure appreciate it. I'll keep listening.
No, I appreciate it, Mark.
I really appreciate you guys. You've helped me out on 2 or 3 issues. I don't know if you remember my son's pickup here a while back. We built a Dodge Dakota pickup, and you helped me out a lot with some ideas on it.
Yep. No problem at all. We appreciate doing that, Mark. Thank you so much for listening.
Have a good.
All right, you do the same. No, thank you. And that's a good tip. Mark just gave us a great tip on probably some other listeners on potentially, a dealer that's not that far away that you might be able to save some good money on.
Well, I kind of learned a tip. I didn't ever think about renting a car. I'm driving it before.
I've recommended that before, and it's a great way to. It's a great, because you can get behind the vehicle for 2-3 days, even if you want to, or if you want to rent one for a week. I mean, what's it cost you for a week? Not a lot.
No.
It beats the heck out of paying for a new car for, if you're renting, if you're buying the car on time is what I meant to say. So if you put a loan on the car, you're not going to be paying for that car anywhere from the next 5 to 6 years. Typically, most loans now are 72 months. So 6 years, you're going to be paying for a car, a week's worth of rent. It's pretty cheap to make sure you're not buying the wrong car.
I wish I knew that when I was dating. I've been driving new cars up to the girlfriends, All
right, we'll take some more calls. 303-477-5600. When we come back, we'll give you a couple of transmission tips from Jeff Kitty, and we'll start talking about how much does it really cost to own a car. We'll have that when we come back. Drive Radio, John Rush, your host, KLZ 560.
At Arvada West Auto, we know that fluids are the life of your vehicle. They are also complicated, with all the different types, from motor oil to gear oils to coolant. The types of fluids, service procedures, and intervals can vary widely. Let us help you sort out what your vehicle needs and when it needs to be serviced. Stop in or call us at Arvada West Auto, 11752 West 64th Avenue, 303-422-1065. You can visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment, or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
We've all been there. You're under the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right parts store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every auto repair says so much more than if it's not right, we'll try to fix it again. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty tells me that this is a master mechanic who's confident, who knows what they're doing. I mean, nobody offers a warranty like that, right? Colorado Select Auto Care Centers do, and only the members of Colorado Select offer a warranty this good. Find a mechanic who's a member of Colorado Select Auto Care at coloradoselect.org.
All right. John Rush Drive Radio, along with Jeff Kitty and Dennis Brewster. Taking your calls. Lines open 303-477-5600. We got one more snow story, and then we'll talk about how much does your car really cost you. Nick, welcome.
Oh, hi.
How you doing today?
Oh, pretty good.
Thanks for calling us, Nick.
Well, my story is about a 1964.5 Mustang, which I had put in the Econoline rear end, a full-size 4-speed, and a V8, 1966 V8 engine in it with a high-rise and headers.
Okay.
So this Christmas Eve was a terrible snowstorm in Loveland, Colorado. I get a call from a business friend of mine who's stuck in Colorado Springs. And he says, "Can you do something for me?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "Well, I want you to go buy some toys." And he said, "Then I want you to play Santa Claus to my little boy, which I won't be able to get back to see." I said, "Okay." So I go get the toys. I was able to commandeer a Santa suit, and I get all loaded up. Now the snow was, oh God, it was bad, and it's probably above the hubcaps when I started out.
Oh,
so I get in the car. I only had to go about 5 blocks. So I get in the car and I go there. I couldn't see anything, even out of the car. So anyway, I walk across the yard to the back, which I'd never been. And I'm walking along on this snow, and all of a sudden my feet go out from under me. I fall down, land on my rear, and I'm facing the patio door with this little boy looking out the window.
Santa just fell down.
Just dropped right in. So I get up and I do the Santa thing, and I couldn't believe it as I did it. But anyway, so then I didn't know how to get out of the yard, so I just picked a spot, climbed up this hill, and the snow had gotten worse, and the only way I could find the car was to follow my footprints because the snow was so deep. Yeah. So I get back to the car. I realize I'd parked on top of a hill.
Oh, no.
So I go forward down to the bottom of the hill, make a U-turn, and do a lot of praying, go right up the hill and back to the house.
Wow. Good story.
It was an unbelievable happening.
Wow. Wow. Maybe you had a little divine intervention that night, maybe.
Oh, I think so. I don't know how else it was the worst snowstorm that Loveland ever saw.
Was that back in the 80s?
Oh, yeah, probably and they got criticized. You may not remember this, but they decided to pile all the snow in the middle of the street.
I remember that.
That sounds
well,
familiar.
it was against the federal rules, whatever. So they had to move all that snow. But the funny part about it was people tried to make U-turns and go over this deep snow, and they get hung up.
Yeah, got stuck.
Yeah, and their front wheels were off the ground, the rear wheels were off the ground, and they were just sitting there.
High centered.
Yep.
Yep. That's good stuff. Nick, thanks so much for your phone call. We appreciate it very much. That was a great story, and sounds like you probably made some little boy's Christmas really well.
What a name to have to play Santa
Nick?
Claus, Nick.
Nick?
Yeah.
Nick playing Santa?
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
All right. Jeff Kitty.
Yes.
Give us a couple of tips on automatic transmissions especially, but this could apply in some cases even to manuals with clutches. So what are some things that if you get stuck with an automatic transmission, you don't want to do, especially in late model cars today?
You don't want to rock them out of it. If you get stuck, your best bet is to either carry some snow melt with you, something that's got some abrasive to it. Cat litter works great, that type of stuff. The biggest thing is dig it out or have somebody help push it out.
So, get the snow cleared from all the tires so it'll move.
Get the snow cleared out from underneath it, because if you rock it, you're going to be buying yourself a headache down the road.
Okay.
It might not show up right away either.
And
Really?
the newer cars are getting harder to rock too because they have a delay.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's hard to, like back in the 70s, you can take a car and go drive, reverse, drive, reverse, drive, reverse. Nowadays, you put it drive, it goes second and then reverse and then second and then it goes.
Exactly.
Takes a while. Yeah.
And the other thing is it really doesn't hurt to read that book that sits in the glove box that nobody ever reads.
Most of the time, they're still stored in the cellophane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that has a lot of tips on how your car is supposed to be driven in winter weather.
Good point.
So, the clutches, there again, rocking them kills them. Slow and easy will get you there. We don't see a whole lot of clutch vehicles, standard vehicles anymore.
Right.
But
percentage keeps dropping on manual transmission cars.
Exactly. And you have fewer drivers that know how to drive them.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yep.
So here's a tip for you on the snow. Speaking of the transmission side of the fence, and we haven't mentioned that this year. I usually do, sometime during the year, but I haven't done it this year. Just Jeff talking about it reminded me. If you're driving a front-wheel drive car, which most are today, it's either front-wheel or all-wheel. Now, an all-wheel drive car, this is not as big of a deal, but if it's a front-wheel drive only car, here's a tip for you to help you get out of a sticky situation, especially if you know there's going to be a snow plow that comes along and might plow some snow in front of you. Back into the spot.
Yes.
Don't drive in. Some of you are saying, well, John, what difference does that make? Well, think about this. Your front-wheel drive car in reverse is now a rear-wheel drive car. It's not really front-wheel drive going backwards. So it's always better to pull a car than to push a car.
Yes.
That's why front-wheel drive works so well, and because of the weight and so on. But trust me in this. It's much easier to back into a spot and pull out of it than it is to do it the other way around. Here's the other tip. Give yourself don't back all the way into a spot. So say you're backing into a spot and there's either a car or a fence or something behind you. Don't pull back all the way to where you've only got a couple of inches between you and the item that you're backing into. Give yourself 4 or 5 feet if you can. In a lot of the shorter cars, you can do that and still not stick way out. Not stick your nose of your car way out. Here's why you do that also. To Jeff's point, if you need to dig out to give yourself a little running start to get over the snow pile that may have just been piled in front of you from the snow plow, you now have 4 or 5 feet to back up to then get a running start to bust through that snow pile, that if you back all the way in and the snow is up against you, you don't have that option anymore.
Here's another tip with that. Same line. When you pull in there like that and you're backing up, what I would recommend doing is pull forward a little bit and kind of pack the snow down back and forth a little bit, 2 to 3 feet. And then when it does snow, there's going to be some snow there, but it's packed down.
That's right. It's easier to get out.
Now you have a run at it. You have at least a 2-foot run.
Exactly.
Yeah. What we're trying to do is give you some advantage with the vehicle if you happen to get in a situation like that where things are stuck. Let's go to Dell, who's up next. Dell, welcome.
How you doing, John?
Doing good, Dell. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, hey, my best one was my old Hudson. I had an old Hudson Commodore 6. It was, I think, about the same weight as an aircraft carrier.
Yeah.
But it just plowed. And then the other one, I had that 73 Ford high boy crew cab with 460 and then 4-wheel drive low with chains. That thing's like a mountain goat.
Yeah, those are good trucks. They work really, really well. Yeah, that's a tough truck to beat.
The other trick too is if if you get stuck, you can use your cloth covered floor mats too.
That's true. I've seen people do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a little bit of rubber on the bottom and stick those in.
Yeah.
You might ruin one, but if it gets you unstuck, then so be it.
That's cheaper than the transmission.
That's
Right.
true.
Sometimes you'll see them laying there on the road. That's what they use them.
That's right. And they just kept on going.
Yeah.
And I got one question on my Ranger. When I tow my trailer in town, Jeff can probably answer it, is when I've got my one trailer, I tow my Tricon, and I usually take it out of overdrive. And if it's real slick and nasty out, I usually try to take it out of overdrive.
Okay.
Is that okay on this?
Yeah. Yeah, that's not going to hurt anything. It'll affect gas mileage a little bit, but
Yeah, but I'd rather have a little bit of gas mileage than
yes.
Yeah.
burn up.
But yeah, you definitely, that's not going to hurt
Especially in
anything.
town, I do it. Yeah, especially in towns when I do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that'll work just fine, Del.
Okay.
All right, Dale. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for the phone call. Mickey, you're up next. What's going on today? Hello, Mickey. Welcome to Drive Radio.
Hey, John.
How you doing, sir?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Doing great.
Best car in the snow I ever had was a Saab Sonnet.
Say that again. A Saab?
Sonnet. It's a tiny little sports car, front wheel drive, and it had a thing called freewheel, which is supposed to be kind of an overdrive, but it really isn't. When you let off on the gas, it's like putting it in neutral.
Got it. Got it. So that a Sprague type clutch assembly on the direct or on the last gear, evidently.
Yeah.
No, on all gears.
Oh, it had it on all gears. Really? Okay.
What year was this?
That was a 71.
Okay.
And they used that on the old Saab upside down bathtubs and right up till 85 actually on some of their 9.3s.
Yeah.
But as soon as you let off on it, you were kind of like you were coasting.
Sort of like putting it in neutral, basically.
Yep. So as soon as you let off, all four tires started gripping the same, so it would steer out of anything.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, I never heard of that. That's a new one on me. I'm not a Saab expert by any means. That's a new one on me.
Yeah.
Well, it was a flat bottom boat on top of it because it was so little. So as long as the tires could get some grip, you'd go.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, good point.
But if it was real thick wet snow, it'd sit on top and not do nothing.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
And I like your wife was right on the 67 Mustang. That was a good one in the snow. I drove that in upstate New York a long time. It didn't get stuck.
Wow.
On the other hand, the 73 Mach 1 was a pig on ice.
Oh,
it was worthless.
Was that because of the more of a fastback and a different weight distribution or what?
Power.
Yep. It was worthless.
Interesting.
They had a lot of power, so you barely touched the pedals. You're just burning.
Yeah, you'd watch the tachometer go up and the speedometer go up, and you'd notice yourself still slowing down.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Good stuff, Mickey. Appreciate it very much. Thanks for the call. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is this program you're listening to today. If it's the first time you're ever tuning in, we're here 10 to 1 every single Saturday. We're rebroadcast again on Sundays from noon to 2, the last 2 hours of the show. And Jerry from Denver is up next. Jerry, welcome.
Hi, I had a question about oil change frequency for a new car. My manual says every 7,500 miles, and I probably drive 9,000 miles a year.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, I know that it's based on mileage and time, and I'm wondering if I drive 9,000, when should I get my oil changes for purposes of just keeping the car in good shape, and secondly, to maintain the warranty?
It's 7,500.
Yeah.
So if I go a year and drive 7,500 miles, I should get it done when I hit 7,500 in a year.
Or if your year, exceeds the, in other words, if you get to the year before your 7,500, I would probably do an annual oil change no matter what. But if you're going 9,000 in a year, you're going to hit 7,500 at what, 9 or 10 months?
Right. And then that won't cause a problem with the warranty?
No, it will not.
No, it wouldn't cause a problem with the warranty. My only concern is when you're driving it that little, how long are your drive times when you do a drive?
it's probably 20 miles at a time.
Okay.
You're fine.
Then you're fine. Yeah, you're fine.
If it was
Okay,
2 miles, we might have a problem. At 20 miles, you're fine.
Yeah.
All right, and they said they use a synthetic blend.
Right.
You use full synthetic. Don't use the blends. The blends are just a cheaper way of doing it. Use the full synthetic.
Yeah, I asked about that, and he said something about if you use synthetic, you can't go back to a synthetic
He's full
blend.
of crap.
Yeah, you can.
BS.
Yep.
Call BS on that one.
'Cause
Sorry, I just am.
Okay, because he said like if you were in the middle of Kansas and something happened,
He has
and
no
they didn't
clue.
have.
He has no clue what he's talking about and doesn't understand oil at all. I just put up a article, or actually a video from Mobile One that I just put up onto our Facebook page. It's an older video, but explains everything that we just said in full detail from the mobile laboratory. The engineers at the lab actually put this video together.
Yep. And I saw a similar video in 93 when GMC was given a Commitment Plus. They would give they would do a full synthetic or a synthetic of Mobile One oil change. And they would pay for that when you first bought a GMC. And it's the same video.
And here's the other thing too, that Jerry, just to think of common sense always comes into play. So here's what you need to ask that technician that's telling you, or the service advisor, whoever that tells you can't run, you have to go synthetic or you can't go back. Once you're running synthetic oil, you can't go back to regular oil. Ask him what blended oil is. So if there's a synthetic blend, ask him what that is.
Yeah.
Because here's the real story to synthetic blended oil. A blended oil is about 3 parts regular oil to 1 part synthetic. Literally. So does that not tell you that synthetic and regular oil mix together just fine?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. Yeah. Again, this is all common sense. There's no rocket science in this at all. And I've talked about this many, many times on the program. In fact, I did last week. Your engine, other than the protection that the synthetic oil gives it, it doesn't know one oil, one brand, or even one weight from another. Now, if you use the wrong weight, your engine's going to tell you because it's not going to perform like it should according to the manufacturer specifications. But it doesn't know Mobile One from Pennzoil, from Amsoil, from anything else.
Do you recommend synthetic over blend?
Yes. You're wasting your money on the blend, I think. If you're going to run blend, just either run regular oil or run full synthetic. The blends are a marketing ploy as much as anything.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Appreciate the phone call. All right. We went a little long there, but it was a great question, by the way, that Jerry had. Any other questions like that, we'd love to answer them. 303-477-5600. There's still a ton of misconceptions and wives' tales inside of our industry when it comes to oil, even from dealerships, repair shops, service advisors, and technicians that don't understand oil. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Are your tires unsafe? If it's time to get new tires, don't go to a tire shop. Instead, let QuickTread bring its mobile tire shop to you. One call to 720-588-9055, and QuickTread's tire experts will help you choose the best tires for your vehicle, lifestyle, and budget. Then, QuickTread will bring its state-of-the-art mobile tire shop to your home or workplace and mount and balance your new tires right there, all while you relax and enjoy the 3 hours you didn't spend going to a regular tire shop. Give QuickTread a call at 720-588-9055 and see how much better buying new tires can be.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in Boulder? At John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4. Located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet One. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Just take those old records off the shelf. I sit and listen to them by myself. Today's music ain't got the same song. I like that old time rock and
You can talk first. That's fine.
Yeah, I was just going to jump in. He's going old school on us. Yeah.
All right, that was Dennis Brewster. John Rush, your host, Drive Radio, along with Jeff Kitty.
Yep.
And I was just telling these guys about Universal Oil. We talked about those folks a little bit earlier in the show. And no, you can't buy oil from Universal Oil. So when you go to our YouTube channel, Drive Radio, you'll see our Universal Oil videos there. And I got several of them on there. And had a great time with Dan and the guys out at Universal Oil. They supply shops like us, fleet shops and regular retail type, automotive centers and dealerships. That's the other reason why I know their product works well is because in the Wichita area, which is where their plant is, they probably supply 2/3 of the dealerships in Wichita with their oil, which tells you, does their oil actually work in a new car?
Yeah.
Well, I think that pretty much sums it up.
It's hard right now to find oils that don't work in a new car, to be honest with you. But you know what we try to do is get the best for the customer that we can, and make the profit, so we can stay in business.
Exactly right. All right, let's go to Mark and Aurora. Mark, what's going on today?
Howdy, John. Pretty good. How you guys doing?
Great. Thanks for calling us.
You know it's winter time when 20 degrees feels wonderful.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Yeah.
Hey, my father has a 2014 Subaru Forester, and somebody told him that these newer cars, quote unquote, no longer benefit from being warmed up. Would you care to address that?
I'd love to address that. And what I will tell you is they don't necessarily benefit from being warmed up in regards to you have to go out, get everything warmed up so everything's lubricated and off you go. No, that part of it really isn't a big deal. But as a driver and somebody that hops in cold cars on a pretty routine basis, it really is nice for the driver to actually get in and warm one up for 2 or 3 minutes before you head out. It's probably more for you on the creature comfort side than it is the vehicle itself.
But also you need the windshield cleaned off. You need to, you have to have certain things done. And when you run your car and warm it up and the defroster's working.
What I tell people, rule of thumb is this, Mark. If it's super cold like it's been lately and you've got frost on the windows and so on. So here's the deal. You climb in, get the vehicle started up, and then climb back out, get your snow brush, get everything cleaned off. By the time you get everything cleaned off and ready to go, you're ready to drive at that point. You don't need to sit there another 5 or 10 minutes unless you want the car fully warmed up for you as an occupant. You don't have to as far as the vehicle is concerned.
Right.
Wow. Can you tell me what the difference is in, is it the technology? Why in the old days were we told that and now we don't? What has changed? I'm curious.
Fuel injection, computer controlled, computer engine management, better oils, better coolant, better rubber on the belts themselves, better transmissions, better oil in the transmissions. I can go down the list. Synthetic oil, which we've been talking a lot about today, is really probably what's helped more of that than anything else.
Okay, very good. Hey, on the same vehicle, and this is probably a call better directed toward the dealer, when his heater system is on high, man, that thing puts out a lot of decibels. I'm curious, have you heard this complaint before? It's the noisiest heater I have ever heard.
I've not heard any complaints on that at all. So
you'd almost have to go back to the dealer and sit in another car and see what it sounds like.
I wonder if those things have a filter in it that might be jacked up or something.
Might be, and they do have cabin air filters. It would be worth looking at. But yeah, that one is going to be something where you need to go back to the dealer. To Dennis's point, if need be, go hop in a 2015 and see if it's any quieter. They're basically the same vehicle. They haven't changed them that much at all. So if yours is really noisy and you go hop in a 2015 and it's quieter, then yes, you've got a problem with yours.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks, you guys. Hey, and I appreciate you guys indulging the people telling their stories. It's kind of fun.
Not a problem at all. We enjoy doing that. Yeah, you got one?
Oh man, I got all kinds of stories. How
best
about
vehicle?
some bus driving stories? I used to drive. I drove RTD for a long time, but before then, I was a wild school bus driver, and I thrilled several busloads of kids when we took off across snowy fields and stuff like that. It was a blast, and I guess I better not go too deep into any of that because I don't know how long the statute of limitations is. Yeah, and I used to bribe the kids. If they were good all week, then we'd cut loose on Friday and have a little fun. Oh, I know one I'll throw at you guys. And I really miss it on these newer vehicles. And somebody out there listening should call in too. I used to get the biggest kick out of backfiring my vehicle by turning the ignition off. And boy, when you do that with a bus, holy cow, is that...
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
Okay, well, that's all I got. Hey, thank you,
good
guys.
stuff, Mark. Thank you so much for your phone call. We appreciate it. All right, guys. Any other tips on transmissions, and we'll start talking about the actual cost of ownership on new cars?
Well, one thing is that, some of these people, when, not only the transmission, but just the engine, when you're trying to come out of a stop, when you are stuck or you're sliding, and your wheels are spinning, the engine is going to shut it down a little bit and try to cause the transmission just to go slowly out of it. Might cause it to drop into second gear on some cars.
Well, some cars, Jeff, we were talking during one of the breaks, actually have a second gear start.
Right.
Some SUVs and so on actually have that.
A lot of your vehicles, if you put them into the second gear mode, they'll take off in second gear.
Which helps you with wheel spin.
Well, part of it is it reduces torque to the rear wheels. Less torque, it's going to take off a little easier. It's going to be a little bit of a labored takeoff, but it definitely helps in takeoff.
Especially snow and ice conditions.
The cars with the sport stick option, you get into a jam on those, you can put it in that sport stick option and it'll take off a lot of times in second gear.
This is why we can't throw it back and forth from drive to reverse anymore.
Exactly.
Or you shouldn't.
Well, you should.
People are going to still try it.
And the big thing is that the thing that I really need to stress is that the damage you do to it now might not show up right away. It'll show up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months from now.
Really?
Right.
Yeah. And we notice that in this business. We've noticed that when we get a good snowstorm, we'll notice it right away. The other thing is that when you're spinning those wheels at Mach 5, if you catch on to something, you are going to most likely blow up a planetary or final drive in one of these units. I just went through a deal with one that I had to warranty questionably with the final drive blown up in it, and it was right after a snowstorm.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of plastic parts in a transmission that people don't realize. You think that they'd be all hard parts. They're not all. There's neoprene seals in there and neoprene
seals,
washers,
all kinds of stuff, rust washers.
Yeah.
Everything is engineered pretty well.
Right.
But it's engineered for normal.
Yeah, it's not meant for coming out of a 2-foot snowbank.
No,
that's not what they're engineered for.
At 95 miles an hour, when you're spinning 95 and you catch it.
Correct.
Shock loads and stuff like that. So a lot of the things that we've been kind of wondering about is all these vehicles that are the best snow cars. Maybe we need to find out who taught them how to drive.
That's what we're talking about.
That's a good point.
I think all these people who've called in, I have to say, a lot of them, these cars, if you get a normal person in that car, maybe they don't do that.
That's very true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing is that they've got snow driving school.
Oh, good point. Hey, let's talk about some of that when we come back. We're running up against a break. Sportsman's of Colorado is on right after us at 1 o'clock, so I'll give you what they're going to talk about here in the next hour. And when we come back, we'll give you some more transmission tips, take some more calls, 303-477-5600, and talk about the true cost of car ownership. You don't want to miss that. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Wasting all my time, 'cause when you're still so near, I can't lose my mind. It's not the perfume that you wear, it's all the ribbons in your hair, and I don't mind you coming in, wasting all my time.
Still haven't had enough? Go to drive-radio.com Email your questions and comments. Download previous programs and find lots of useful information, including your nearest Colorado Select Auto Care Center. That's drive-radio.com. Thanks for listening to Drive Radio, sponsored by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers on KLZ 560.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business. So Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Randy Corcoran from The Morning Show. I'm back on March 9th, but in the meantime, guest hosts, traffic and weather with Woody Lawrence, action items, news, and political commentary, all from the perspective of God and country, the foundation here on KLZ. Follow me on Twitter at Randy Corcoran. Like our Facebook page at Wake Up with Randy Corcoran. I'm out for the week, but please join us 5 to 8 a.m., Monday through Friday here on KLZ 560.
Hi, this is Scott Watley. Join me weekdays from noon to 1 for Haystack Help Radio. We'll help with consumer problems, give you quality business referrals, let you know about the latest scams, and we'll also give great help for seniors. Weekdays, noon to 1 for Haystack Help Radio. Check out our website, haystackhelpradio.com.
Freedom, liberty, truth. KLZ AM 560, KLZ HD Denver. Listen live at KLZ560radio.com. KLZ 560.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Dave Perkins.
He spoke his new amnesty law into being.
Texas Republican Congressman Louis Gohmert coming very close on the floor of the House to using the D word.
And then Jay Johnson did a memo.
Gohmert talking in Congress about why the fight over funds for President Obama's amnesty dictate holding up the DHS funding bill.
We're not having laws spoken into being in this country and having some bureaucrat unelected come around with a memo that undoes laws by different Congresses all these years, signed by different presidents with a memo. Come on.
Boris Nemtsov's 86-year-old mother telling Nemtsov, stop cursing Putin, he'll kill you for that. Now, Nemtsov, Vladimir Putin's most vocal critic, dead in a drive-by shooting on a bridge over the Moscow River. This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
Everyone is making the switch to the Blaze to make it their source for the truth. Why not make it your source for the truth? Make theblaze.com your homepage for news that the other outlets won't even touch. Subscribe to The Blaze TV at theblaze.com/TV or on Dish Network and get access to original programming like For the Record, the show that exposes what's really going on that the government doesn't want you to know. And Real News, the daily conversation on the topics of the day that matter most. Check out the Blaze Radio Network at theblaze.com/radio with original shows like Buck Sexton, The Morning Blaze with Doc Thompson, Pat and Stu, and Jay Severin. Or if you need something to hold in your hands, subscribe to the Blaze magazine. So basically, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. This is the Blaze. Truth lives here. So just to recap, anywhere you need to go, you can take the truth with you by taking the Blaze with you. Find out all the ways at theblaze.com.
You've been listening to the Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560. Randy Corcoran at 5, Laura Ingram at 8, Monday morning on KLZ 560.
It's a mighty fancy automobile. Oh, she's a real road king, all right. 0 to 60 in 7.5. She'll do a quarter mile, 13.40. 390 horsepower, 500 foot-pounds of torque. Whatever that is. Performance and image, that's what it's all about.
There's no such thing as a stupid question. This is Drive Radio. All of your automotive questions are just one phone call away. 303-477-5600. Drive Radio is made possible by the member shops of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. To find you, go Go to drive.
RY.
Now, Drive Radio on KLZ 560.
Yep, it's Drive Radio. Last hour, John Rush, Dennis Brewster from Extreme, and Jeff Kitty from Larry's. And we've been talking about transmissions, the best snow cars, answering oil questions, when to change oil, how long to go. You name it. It's kind of all over the map. We'll take any call you got, though.
Talk about heater.
Yeah, heaters. You name it. Guys, the sky's the limit. Anything that you've got on your vehicle you have a question about, there's no dumb question. Now, I say that sincerely because some people think, well, can I ask this? I'm like, well, of course you can ask that. There's really nothing you can't ask.
You might stump us.
Well, the dumb question is the one you never asked.
That's a good point. 303-477-5600. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air. And right now we have RY with us. So RY, welcome.
Thank you.
How you doing today?
I'm flying off. How about you guys?
We're doing great.
Good. I see some severe clear blue above me here.
That's good.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I have a 01 Blazer with 117,000 miles on it.
Okay.
I'm wondering if switching to synthetic motor oil would pay any dividends, or is it even advisable?
Not going to hurt it one bit.
I think it'll help it. To be honest with you.
Be easier starting in this cold weather.
Yep.
Yeah, there's really, other than price, there's no downside to synthetic oil.
It's used the same. I use a 5W40. Use the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This is too easy.
It is.
That's an easy answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I had, guys. Thank you very
You're
much.
very welcome. You bet. Take care. All right, we got a couple of email questions while Larry's getting a call loaded up here. 303-477-5600. Joe in Thornton asks, 2011 Nissan Juke, says, John, I have the opportunity to purchase a used 2011 Juke Turbo used vehicle from a local reputable auto dealer. They will install a new engine, tires, and brakes for $12K. Any recommendations what to look for otherwise? Thanks for the great justice you provide. First question I would have, Joe, is if you're listening, I'll email you back on this, but why a new engine? Why are they doing a new engine, tires, and brakes?
Yeah, that's confusing.
I think that would be one I'd stay away from if it needs a new engine at this point on a 2011.
2011? Yeah.
I'm confused as to why it needs an engine. So I'm going to email you back right now. Why a new
Doesn't make any sense.
engine? That one.
I haven't heard of them going through motors.
No, they are not. Yeah. Something's
not right.
If it's been rode hard and put away wet that many times that it needs an engine,
don't
run and hide.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the maintenance is lacking.
Exactly.
There's some other problems going down.
The car's 4 years old and it needs an engine.
Yeah.
We got other problems.
Yeah.
I would not, and I'm just saying this, I would have to type and talk at the same here, not buy a car that needs an engine. How's that sound, guys?
Sounds right.
All right. So if you're listening, please call us because I really want to talk through that one. So I'm going to put on here, call us, and we'll talk through that one on air. So I don't understand that one at all. So Joe, if you're still listening, give us a call, 303-477-5600. All right, let's go to Tom, who's up next. Tom, welcome to Drive Radio.
Hi there. I had a quick question about some of the new safety features on the new cars. Specifically, this situation where you drift into another lane and it warns you of that.
Yeah.
How does that technology work?
Lane departure, it's called, and it works very well, actually. It actually has a camera up by your rear view mirror that typically is looking out at the stripes on the road, and you'd be surprised how faint the stripes are that it can still see and understand where you are between them. And all of them work a little differently. Some will actually nudge you back in. Some of them will just give you an audible alert. Some will actually apply one set of brakes to nudge you back in. Some turn the steering wheel for you. It just depends on the system and what car you're driving.
Okay, so if I want to change lanes, does that mean I have to use the turn signal or
Correct. That is correct. If you don't use the turn signal, it's going to tell you that you shouldn't be in that other lane.
And it might possibly correct that change?
What vehicle? It depends on the vehicle. Some vehicles, like Toyota, for example, with lane departure, does nothing but give you an audible alert, tells you where you're at, and if you move into that other lane, it's no big deal. Believe it or not, some of the Hyundai Kia vehicles, which are actually, and most people think of them as being a lesser quality vehicle, but today's world, they're not. They're very equal to everybody else out there mainstream-wise. They actually will correct the steering for you. Infiniti and Nissan will actually apply brakes to correct the steering and actually move you back into the lane. So it depends on the car and how they're doing it. Each one has a little different system.
Yeah, I could see a situation where, let's say there's a dead raccoon on the road, and you swerve real quickly to avoid it.
Yeah, none of them. If you're controlling the wheel, none of them are going. None of them have enough response to change the direction you want the vehicle to go. So in that particular case, you wouldn't have an issue. It's more for drifting. So if you're trying to drifting out of one lane, it's you're not paying attention. You've looked down at something. You've dozed off. Things like that. That's where it's nudging you, giving you an audible alert, and getting you back into your lane.
And can most of those systems be turned off?
Yes, they can all be turned off.
Okay. All right. Well, appreciate the information.
They actually work extremely well. There's not hardly a new car out that doesn't give you some sort of an option on that. And speaking of that, all of our new car reviews are on our YouTube channel. Just go to drive-radio.com. The link is right there under the new car reviews, or you can go to youtube.com/drive-radio. Find all of our car reviews that are there. I just loaded up 2 today. We just reviewed a Toyota Venza, which is actually a fantastic little car, fabulous car, the way it works and the size and what you can get in it, and the entry and exit doors as far as the second row passengers go. If you've got any kind of kids or handicapped individuals that need to get in and out, they give you a really nice big wide door opening. It's an SUV type vehicle, but built on a car platform, so you don't climb in and out of it. Actually works extremely well. And then we also did a test drove a Nissan Rogue. So talking about Nissans, that actually has the ability to have third row seating, 30 miles to the gallon, up to 7 passengers, 30 miles to the gallon. That's Nissan's #2 best-selling vehicle in their lineup, and you can see why. Because for the money, it's hard to beat. Under 30 grand, 30 miles to the gallon, all the storage capacity you want, all-wheel drive, hard to beat.
Go Nissan.
Yeah, no, it's a great vehicle for that. So, all right, 303-477-5600. Is it Steven or Stefan?
Stefan.
Stefan, how you doing today?
Yeah, pretty good. Hey, quick question. I have a 2003 Tahoe, but the oil gauge has gone up to 80, which is the maximum on the dash.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that if I run 2 quarts over on the oil, instead of running the recommended 6 quarts, I put an extra 2 in, that I don't have any engine noise. Whereas if I run it at the recommended level, I do have kind of a ticking on the center of the engine, top center. But my question is it okay to run extra 2 quarts in an engine without damaging it?
No, it's not. It's not good to do that on it. No.
Oh, well, then if I do run the 6 quarts, then I hear that ticking sound. And when I take it to a dealer, they always say, well, they want to hear the ticking sound to tell me what's wrong with it. But every time I take it in, it's not ticking. And of course, they tell me the engine is running. It sounds like a sound engine. They call it a sound engine or a good engine. Can an oil pump go bad?
Yes, and those were prone for having oil pump failures. So yes, that is something that can go bad. I would take that vehicle over to Dennis. He's in Parker. He's not that far away from you in Lone Tree. Have him actually listen to that vehicle with the proper amount of oil in it. He can actually run some tests on it to see what the actual pressure is, and then determine what you need to do next.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And they did have oil pump issues. So yes.
On the 2003 Tahoe.
Yes.
That 5.3
engine.
Yep. 5.3 engine. Okay, that's good to know. Then one other question I have a 6.0 2003 Ford 450.
Okay.
And the people I took it to told they did a compression test.
Okay.
One of the cylinders is bad. Would you recommend doing a long block or replacing the engine with a factory rebuild? Everything would be replaced.
What vehicle is it again? I'm confused.
Oh, that's the Ford 450 6.0.
Oh, it's a 450 with a 6-liter diesel engine in it?
Yeah, it's a 2003. Uh-huh.
Okay, 2003 with a 6-liter diesel, and it's got one low cylinder, is what you're saying?
That's what they're saying.
Bad
One
compression. And what
bad
makes
cylinder.
them? What makes them? Is the engine not running well? What's it doing?
No, it's not running. As soon as I took it in and they tore it apart, they told me that the cylinder was bad. So I didn't have the enough money to at the time to do anything with it. So I just towed it off their lot and brought it home.
Tow it over to Dennis. Have him look at it, give you a rundown, because before he's going to have to see it to really determine whether you're better off doing a complete engine, a long block, a short block, and some of that's going to be depending upon how the parts look now that it's disassembled. So does it have both heads off? Both heads off, one head off? How does it look?
No, they just pulled some wires off the engine to, I guess, put a gauge on top of the.
Okay. All the more reason you need to get it to Dennis, get a second opinion, and find out if, in fact, it does have low compression on one cylinder. That needs a manual compression test done on it to determine that. A 6-liter Ford has so many known problems. It could be one of, I'm not exaggerating, 30 problems that could be on the vehicle or on the engine not making it operate properly.
And I got a great Ford tech.
Okay, now, where is that shop you're talking about?
It's Extreme Auto Repair in Parker.
Extreme at Parker.
Yeah.
Give me your address, Dennis.
The address is 10274 South Dransfeld Road.
Just off of Lincoln and Dransfeld.
Dransfeld. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good. I appreciate your help.
Yeah, no, take it over there, get a second opinion, because on a 6-liter Ford, you do not want to just take the fact that somebody said it has a bad cylinder and then go buy an engine.
We've fixed so many people's Fords right now because people are saying it needs this, it needs that. We've had people calling up saying I have no compression, is what they told me in one of my cylinders, and we turned out it was just a spark plug an injector that was bad, and we find all kinds of things.
Yeah, you really need to get that looked at. All right, let's take a quick break. We're up against a break. Freeman and Linda, both of you hang on. We'll be right back. Don't go away. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Hunting down that hard-to-find part for an out-of-the-ordinary car can be quite a time-consuming chore. Unless, of course, you just go around the corner to your local Napa Auto Parts store, where we have over 310,000 parts, all of them made to fit and perform just like the original. Yeah, there are people who say it's the journey and not the destination, but those people have never tried to find an alternator for an 82 Fiat on a Saturday. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all our repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Platte Canyon, or visit us online at genosautoservice.com. That's genosautoservice.com.
Arvada West Auto wants to help you get the best fuel mileage you can. Approximately 3.5 million gallons of gas a day are lost due to underinflated tires. There are many things we can do to help you boost your fuel mileage, and most of it comes down to basic maintenance. No one likes to spend money on unplanned repairs. Let Arvada West Auto and Truck do what they do best. Keep your vehicles running at peak performance. From tune-ups to wheel alignments, they've got you covered with a 3-year or 36,000-mile warranty on most cars. On the web, visit ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com or call 303-422-1065. Arvada West Auto and Truck, where every question is important. Located on West 64th Avenue between Ward Road and Sims.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
All right, John Rush, Drive Radio, Jeff Kitty from Larry's Automotive, along with Dennis Brewster out in Parker. So Dennis is out in Parker right off of Dransfeld and Lincoln, as we just said a minute ago.
Yeah.
You guys are...
We're just
Jeff?
off of 72nd and Bradburn. A little hard to get to right now.
A little construction right now, right?
Got a little construction going on, but we're still... you can still get to us from off of 76th and Sheridan or off of 73rd and Lowell.
Awesome. All right, let's go to Linda, who's up next. Linda, welcome to Drive Radio. Hello, Linda.
Love your show. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Thank you.
Oh, okay, great. Love your show and love your Rush to Reason during the drive home.
Thank you, Linda.
Yeah. Anyway, I have a 1990 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. I just got it. Had about a month. It was having a little hot. I thought it was the cold weather, but then it started. I just drive it on the weekends, and I brought it to the dealer. I had them check the battery.
Okay. What'd they tell you, Linda? Hey, Larry, I'm going to put Linda on the hold for just a moment. See if you can get her back. I think her cell phone may be cutting in and out, so I didn't drop her. I just put her on hold. Let's see if we can get her back. In the meantime, I'll take Freeman. Freeman, you're up next. What's going on?
Well, a few weeks back, you were talking about balloon tires. Remember that?
Yes.
Well, balloon tires in mud and snow, I guess, would work about the same.
Balloon tires work great in mud. They're terrible in snow.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, my uncle was driving a T-model.
Okay.
You know those little bitty tires that they have?
Yes.
Well, it was a real muddy day, or it was a muddy road, and he came up behind a car in a big mud hole. I mean, it was just that car was just sitting out there, couldn't do nothing. And my uncle took his T-model, drove right up behind him real easy, and just pushed him right out of that mud hole. And it just, I was just a kid at the time.
Right.
And but I never forgot that when you was talking about balloon tires.
Yeah. Well, and in some cases, I suppose there may be an advantage to them, but 9 times out of 10, the balloon tire sits on top of the snow, does not give you enough traction, will not help at all, and it just ends up being a big mess. That's why we don't recommend big, wide, fat tires in the snow, because they just don't perform very well.
Right.
Well, that's what I was thinking, and they would be about the same in mud or snow. Looks like.
No, it works fine in mud because the mud's all slippery and you want to try to stay on top of the mud. But the snow, you want to get down to where the traction is, which is down underneath the snow itself. That's where the best traction is. Yeah.
Well, that's where that T-model, where those tires was little, they went on down in the mud.
Yeah, they went too far down in it. That's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah, and those balloon tires, that guy was sitting on top of them.
Yep, that's exactly right. Freeman, good phone call. Appreciate you calling in. 303-477-5600 is our number. Let's go back to Linda. Linda, are you back with us?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Much better.
Okay, great. I will not move. Okay, so I have a 1997 the Jeep Grand Cherokee. The battery the car was starting kind of hard. I only drive it on the weekends. I brought it to the dealer, and they tested the battery, and they said the battery was fine. They said it was really strong. They said if I had any problems to bring it back. Well, now it's dead, and I tried to do a trickle charge on it. It wouldn't take it.
Okay.
Tried to do it I guess the fast start or whatever it was. I think it was hooked up properly because my neighbor did it for me. And right now it's...
How old a battery is it, Linda? And we lost Linda again. Linda, if you can still hear me, I'm going to leave you on hold one more time and see if we can figure out how... Now we lost her completely. So, Linda, give us a call back. We'll get you right on once you get a better connection. 303-477-5600. In the meantime, we'll go to Bob, who's up next. Bob, welcome to Drive Radio.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Thank you.
I've got a 2003 Chevy Blazer LS, and the differential came apart. It's broken in two pieces. So I took off the drive shaft and both the short axles on the front in order to try to convert it to a two-wheel drive. But I talked to a couple mechanics, and they told me that...
you can't do that.
They said I better put the axles back in or the bearings will fall.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Out,
There's no way to run that. There's no way to run that truck in two-wheel drive, because even if you take the center diff out and put the axles back in it, they won't stay in it because they'll just be walling around inside the case. So the only option you have is to fix that.
Well, let me just tell you what I did. I mean, I did take the axles out of the differential.
Right.
and out of the wheel.
Right.
That it goes into the spline.
The only other thing you could do would be to
And
take
we've been
the axle.
driving it. We've been driving it like
Yeah,
that.
don't stop driving it. That's very dangerous. The only thing you could do is if you could find some old stub shafts for the very end that you know that you could slide those back through the hub and then put your nut back on
To hold it together.
to hold everything together. You could do that, which means you'd have to actually take your CV joint all apart and actually do it that way, which I do not recommend. But no, stop driving that vehicle. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's what I needed to know, and that's what the mechanics told me that I should do. They were going to do it for me.
No. You cannot do that. That's very dangerous. You need that stub shaft going through there to hold everything together.
That's what I mean. They said put that shaft back in, and even if I have to take it apart, just and put the nut on, and that'll hold the bearings in.
That is correct.
That safe? Is that safe to drive it that way?
That's safe then. Yeah, that'd be okay that way.
So I have to do that.
But you know, I guess I'm confused. By the time you go to all of that work, just put a differential in it.
Well, I know. That's what I need to do.
You're not that far off. From, even if you put a used one in it, you'd be better off doing that.
Yeah. Well, how easy is it to take the differential out of that?
You got to take the whole case assembly out of the front and then take it apart and put a diff in it and put it back together. But
can I do that from underneath? I mean, I don't have a lift. I just
everything has to be done from underneath. Yes.
I mean, with
can you do? Here's the real question: if you've never set up a differential before, you can't do it yourself.
Yeah, there's.
No, I haven't done it before.
Okay,
no.
you have to know how to do that, or it will not last.
And even guys in the field, if they haven't done them before, they can't do them.
That's right.
You have to have a skilled technician do that job.
Right. That's exactly right.
Oh, well, that's helpful to know.
Yeah, if you've never done it, don't do it.
And if you take it to a shop and they haven't done very many differential setups,
Don't leave it there.
Yeah, because you'll be doing that again.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, that's very important information. I won't even try to do it myself then.
No, it's not worth doing yourself.
Call one of the Colorado Select shops.
Yeah, what part of town are you in? Bob?
In Loveland.
In Loveland?
Yeah.
Our closest is going to be Demir's Automotive up in Longmont. Call them and see if he can help you out.
Demir's?
Demir's
how
in
do
Longmont.
Spell that? How do you spell it?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to put you on hold and let Larry give you all the info. That makes things a little faster that way. And I tell you what, I'm going to jump over to Joe, who's been emailing us. And I said, Joe, just call us. Joe, you've got the vehicle that you're looking to buy that actually has an engine that needs replaced, correct?
That's correct.
So give us the whole story.
Okay, the vehicle was listed as used, 2011 Nissan Juke, and initially it listed as having 79,000 miles. I went to look at it, and then I spoke to the manager, and he says, "No, we're in the process of fixing this vehicle. What we're going to do is put in a new engine, new tires, and replace the windshield. And what we'll do is we'll sell it at this amount."
Go find another vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, just it's not worth everything you've already told me. Go find another vehicle.
Man, putting an engine in on a 70,000 mile.
That means that means that the vehicle, either there was a problem with it from new, which if that's the case, I'd give it the benefit of the doubt. But the problem is you don't know that. More than likely, the vehicle hasn't been well maintained. It was rode hard, put away wet one too many times, which means I'd stay clear away from it.
Thanks, John. I asked him about that, and he said that initially what happened, I said, "Why would you put a new engine in this vehicle?" He says, "Well, it was driven hard, the timing belt broke, and then there was a recall on the engine, and we're willing to put in a new engine in this vehicle." And I signed a due bill, left the deposit down, thinking, okay, well, if I can get a used vehicle with a new engine, that sounds great. And
now, knowing what he even admitted to you that it was rode hard, no, go buy another vehicle.
Because that ain't going to be the only problem you have with it.
That's exactly
They'll put a new engine in it, new brakes, and then you're going to have something else.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, thank you. I had the option of canceling.
Yes, cancel it.
So
cancel it.
Thank you, Joe.
Go buy something else. Thank you very much, Joe. Appreciate you calling us. And I had to give Joe the hotline number because he couldn't get in because the lines were busy. But I wanted to talk to him personally because that was a whole lot easier. 303-477-5600 is our number. Call us as soon as somebody drops off. Kirk, you're up next.
Hello.
Hello, Kirk.
Yeah, I talked to you last week about oil changes on a 6.4. I had a few more questions on that.
Sure, go right
6.4
ahead.
diesel.
Yeah.
On the regen, what exactly happens, or a short version of what happens?
Yeah, it's easy. So what happens on regen, and for everybody listening, a lot of the late model diesels now, 2008 and up, typically speaking, have what we call regen. They have a DPF, diesel particulate filter on it, and that filter is collecting some of the hard particulates, helping to reduce NOx and some other things that come out on the emissions side of the fence on the diesel engine. What regen does is, as that filter gets loaded up with particulates, it has to burn those off so that it can actually be clean and continue to function properly. So when it goes into regen, it's adding fuel on the how do I want to say this? Not to make the engine run, so not on the compression side of the fence. It's actually running fuel downstream, heating up the exhaust, thereby burning up all the particulates inside of the diesel particulate filter.
Okay. One other question about it. Once in a while, I'll look in my mirror and I just see a ton of white smoke coming out.
That's regen.
That's regen, yeah.
But it's not saying it's regen on the, I get the warning on the dash, but it doesn't really say it's regen.
It probably is, and it just isn't telling you, and 6.4s are really bad about that. And, a question I have for you, how do you use the vehicle? What's your typical day in that truck like?
Well, it sits a lot. It's only got 50,000 miles on it.
That's part of its problem.
Yeah.
6,000 of that was a trip to Alaska last summer.
Okay, and that's good for it.
Yeah. So
the problem with the vehicles that don't have urea injection, which is yours, so you're an early emission, particulate filter only. There's no urea injection into it, and those vehicles need driven hard. And if they sit around and putz around town, the DPF on them load up.
Yeah, that's probably what's happening.
That is what's happening.
The best way to clean it up is get it on the highway, drive at about 65, 70 miles an hour, take a good long, 10, 15 mile trip, get things heated up, and that'll help clean it out.
Okay. I've got a quick story about cars in the snow.
Sure.
When we got married, 1980, I think it was, and my wife had a 68 GTO.
Okay.
And we used to take that thing everywhere. Her dad lived over in Glenwood, and we used to go over there in snowstorms and you name it.
Yeah, that's just like the car I had. Yeah, because my Buick GS is basically a GTO Chevelle, same body style. Yeah.
Start out in second or third gear.
Yeah.
Had to,
Yep.
But anyway, now we restored it, and it doesn't even see.
No, good for
anymore.
you. So that's good. You still have the car. That's awesome.
Yeah, she's the original owner, actually.
Oh,
so
that's really good. Good for
pretty
you.
neat.
That's cool.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That adds a lot of value to it, you being the original owner.
Yeah, it's a fun car. We have fun in the summer.
That's
with
awesome.
cruises and stuff. So.
Good for you, Kirk.
Hey, Kirk,
All right,
keep listening
thanks for
to
your
the
help
show.
on that.
I
enjoy it. Whenever I can, I listen. So.
Appreciate it.
Well,
Good
keep
show.
listening because we do a car show in August in Parker, and you should bring your GTO
Yeah, bring your
down.
GTO up,
Then
yeah.
you could show it to John because
Yeah,
we'll be
I'd
doing
love
the
to see
radio
it.
show
Yeah.
live there.
Yeah.
Oh, you do that? Okay.
Every
yeah,
year.
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Just listen
Sounds
along,
good.
and you'll find out when we're doing it this year.
Sounds great, Kurt. Thanks so much for calling in. Kirk's not that far from me where I'm at over in Lafayette. So, Kirk, if you need anything, be sure to let us know. You can send an email to john@drive-radio.com. Let's take a quick break, guys. We come back. We've got lines full. As soon as somebody drops off, call us. We have 2 mics on the phone, one on premium oil and one on a Taurus tranny. We'll get to both of those as soon as we come back. Don't go away. John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
Have you failed an emissions test and don't know what to do? Have you been trying to fix it yourself? Arvada West is your answer. We score 100% on our success ratio. That's confidence for the customer. We are always willing to explain the repair process to you. We use a proven diagnostic format that we have developed since the emissions program began here in Colorado. For an honest, understandable, and reasonably priced diagnosis, stop by and see us. We've helped clean our Colorado air since 1981. Call Arvada West Auto and Truck 303-422-1065 or see us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com. If you would like to stop by to make an appointment, we are at 11752 West 64th Avenue.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in Boulder? At John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4, located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind behind Carpet One. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
All right, John Rush Drive Radio, KLZ 560. 2 segments left is all we have. And I tell you what, Linda called in before. We've got her back now, so I'm going to take her ahead of you other guys. Sorry, but she was up first. Linda, welcome back.
Hi, sorry guys. Anyway, 1997 Jeep Grand Cherokee, battery's having a hard time starting, drive it once a week. Dealer checked it out, battery was great. That's where I left it.
And how old is the battery?
The battery looks pretty new. I think it was replaced pretty recently.
Okay.
That doesn't mean much, though.
No,
Yeah.
and there's typically a date stamp on the battery itself. You have to take it out to actually find it and look at it. But sometimes they can look pretty new and still be 3, 4, 5 years old. And even if it's 3+ years old and it's acting like it is, I'd put a battery in it.
Okay. Just change out the battery and
use a good, high-quality battery. Don't go down and buy some cheap thing at Walmart or wherever. Buy a good, solid, high-quality.
Napa?
Yeah, go down to Napa, buy one of their 60 or 72-month batteries and use that instead.
Okay. Should I have a diagnostic run on it for electrical drain?
You could, but from everything you're telling me, the battery itself is bad.
Okay.
That'd be my first guess from all the description that you've given us.
Okay. And I'm going to do that myself.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you have any other problems, send us an email and I'll walk you through it.
Okay, thanks, guys.
You're
You have
very
a good
welcome,
day.
Linda. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to Mike, who's up next. One line open, 303-477-5600. Mike, welcome. Hello, Mike. How you doing?
Yes, this is Mike with the transmission problem.
Yes.
Yes, I have a '99 Ford Taurus, and it's a 3-liter V6.
Okay.
Car runs great. There was never any problem with it. And one day, my daughter just stopped, talked to somebody. She had the window down. You talked. She put it back in gear, and it would not go anywhere. And it hasn't since.
It's all her fault.
I know it.
She's talking to the wrong person.
That's right. What probably some guy she stopped and talked to.
Well, actually, it was her boyfriend.
There you go. It's all his fault, actually.
Karma. Yeah.
No, it's probably nobody's fault. It's just a common problem on a Taurus.
I know they had transmission problems, but and my neighbor did say he run a check on that and said there's no pressure in the, but it never made a noise or nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, there
that's
was never.
normal.
That's pretty common on those.
Yeah, that's normal. It's not anything she did.
Oh, and they just go out like that, huh?
Yes, they do.
Probably, if there's no pressure on it, probably strip the pump drive out.
Which
I'll
would
be
be instantaneous, and that's exactly what it did.
I'll be darned.
No, I guess I'll just have to get her rebuilt, I guess. Then.
Yep, and actually call Larry or Jeff and Larry over at Larry's, and they'll take care of you. Jeff, give me your phone number real quick.
303-427-2108.
I'll tell you what, I'll put you on hold, Mike, and Larry can give you all the info on how to get to him with the construction and that now. And so, Larry, grab line 3 and let him know how to get a hold of you guys. Let's go to the other Mike, Arvada. You've got a question on oil. What's going on, Mike?
Yes, sir. All right. I have a 2002 Chevrolet Prism.
Okay.
And the oil cap says that it needs SJ, Sam John, 5W30.
Right. You won't find SJ anymore, though, because it's all been superseded by the newer oils.
Okay, that was then. Thank you very much. I hope. I use Valvoline Full Synthetic, 5W30.
Good for you.
Okay. And that's SN and
Correct.
SM. Okay.
Correct. Because it's all it all supersedes all of what's before that. SJ, SL, and so on.
Perfect. I was concerned, so I was listening to you guys, and I thought, perfect, I'll call.
No, you're fine. You're in good shape.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thanks a lot, Mike. We appreciate it. Let's go to Henry, who's in Brighton. Henry, you're up next. What's going on?
Not much. I just want to comment on some of those old cars in snow. First of all, an 02, and that was a 72, I believe, Tornado, front-wheel drive with chains on it.
They were good cars in the snow. Yeah.
When you put chains on it, it would slam a wall.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Little rough riding and steering, but
yeah, they were good cars. They had a great front drive. You know, that was the same drivetrain. Most people out there don't know this, but that was the same drivetrain that was underneath those big GMC motorhomes that you would see. They were front-wheel drive motorhomes with a Tornado front end.
Exactly.
Yep.
And one other one way back was a 49 DeSoto with fluid drive.
Okay.
And that didn't have enough power to spin the wheels, so I had to go.
Yeah, that's what made them go so well in the snow.
And with your cork, with the walnut shell recaps.
The tires. Yeah. So you got a question on check engine light?
Yeah, I have a Chevrolet that has a check engine light on. It was on before, and the Chevrolet garage back in Kansas said, well, it's just a slow response on the O2 sensor.
Okay.
That it wasn't going to cause any problem. And what's your response on that?
Put an O2 sensor in it if it's slow to respond. That means it's not working properly. That's why the light's getting turned on, and your mileage and the way the car performs will be affected by that.
But at that time, is it going to be filling up that cap if I run it with that light on?
You won't hurt anything running it with the light on, but the light's telling you there's a problem that needs fixed.
Right.
And in Colorado now, you won't pass an emissions test with the light on now.
One other thing, that was changed once, and they screwed up the threads on the upstream
sensor.
Now, I think they should be responsible for something.
Yes, they should.
But then again, I don't know if the guy, some Jimmy back there, didn't know what he was doing. Or didn't care. It was on a clock.
Sometimes you can chase those with a thread chaser and fix them. If not, you can cut those out and weld a new bung in and fix it that way also.
You got to pull it apart, though.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
All right. Okay, man. Have a good one.
All right, Henry. Appreciate the phone call very much. 303-477-5600. John in Boulder, what's going on?
Well, yeah, I got a 4.0 98 Ranger.
Okay.
Just picked this truck up pretty cheap, and of course, I'm finding all kinds of things wrong with it. One of them is it's got a check engine light, and it's the codes for lean bank left and right.
Okay.
And I Googled it, and it says, typically with those, it's the upper intake manifold gaskets leak.
Could be.
And my question is, do the lower ones leak? Should I just do them both? I mean, it's not that big a job. Being careful with it all. And
if you're going to do one, you probably should do both. But I would make sure that's exactly what's wrong with it first before I put intake gaskets on it, because it could be any number of things, giving you that code.
Well, I clean. I did the map sensor cleaner. I checked for all kinds of leaks, and any leaks anywhere, vacuum leaks. Otherwise, what else did I do?
Have you actually been able to read any of the readings to determine what the readings are coming out for the O2s and so on to know exactly what's going on?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a better tester than most. It's from a parts store, but it's
so basically you have a code reader. You don't have a scan tool on it.
Yeah, code ring. It's 141, 147, and it's left and right bank.
Got it. Before I did an intake on it, I would get a scan tool on it and look at your readings and see exactly what they say to determine whether or not the intake's actually leaking, because it could be or could not be.
That makes sense. Yeah, why go through all that trouble? It could be some hose I'm not seeing.
Correct. Could have a vacuum leak, could have any number of things causing that.
Good idea. What's the scan run? Is it $100 or something? To do
Yeah,
a
roughly, depending upon what shop you go to, it'll be around $100.
That's well worth it.
Yes, it
How
is.
about in Boulder? Who do you have up here?
We have John's 4x4 right now.
Alrighty, appreciate it.
And they're
man.
right up your alley on that.
Yeah, alrighty.
Okay, appreciate that. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I've got an email that came in about a particular when driving in four-wheel drive on a snowy road, and we'll talk about that as soon as we come back. So don't go away. We've got some more calls coming in. 303-477-5600. One segment left of Drive Radio. We'll come right back. AM 560.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
We've all been there. You run to the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right parts store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Are your tires unsafe? If it's time to get new tires, don't go to a tire shop. Instead, let QuickTread bring its mobile tire shop to you. One call to 720-588-9055, and QuickTread's tire experts will help you choose the best tires for your vehicle, lifestyle, and budget. Then, QuickTread will bring its state-of-the-art mobile tire shop to your home or workplace and mount and balance your new tires right there, all while you relax and enjoy the 3 hours you didn't spend going to a regular tire shop. Give QuickTread a call at 720-588-9055 and see how much better buying new tires can be.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
24 seconds. I timed it. It took me just 24 seconds to find a AAA certified master mechanic who offers the best peace of mind warranty in the state. A 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on every repair. At coloradoselect.org, I search my city and boom, I'm done. Colorado Select Auto Care puts their member shops through a rigorous set of requirements, so I know no matter which shop I choose, I'll get the best auto repair service possible. That's 24 seconds well spent. coloradoselect.org.
Right. John Ross, Drive Radio, along with Dennis Brewster and Jeff Kitty. We've got lines full. As soon as somebody drops off calls, we'll get you in as quickly as we can. Kent, you're up next. What's going on today?
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you.
Hey, I was helping my son. He was replacing alternator on his 2004 Ultima last night.
Okay.
And it got late and too cold, so we wanted to move it, push it inside the garage. We hooked the battery cable up so we could get it in neutral, and sparks flew where the alternator wires were on the engine.
Mm-hmm.
And now it killed the power.
Blew a fuse. It probably blew the main body fuse.
Yeah.
I checked the one on the positive cable and it looks okay. I'm not saying that it is or not, but that was.
You'll need to take I can't talk. You'll need to take a test light and start running through some of the circuits and find out what fuse has actually blown. But you blew a fuse someplace.
There's a buzz fuse that I think you blew. There's a bigger panel. There's a. I can't remember if they have it outside or inside, but there's a bigger fuse block.
Secondary panel.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got to find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you blew something when that sparked.
Okay.
And some of those are glass. They'll have a glass top on them, so you're gonna have to look in and see. But then even then, you might not. They might look good, but it's not.
That's right.
Okay, so you need to test them with the light.
You
then.
really do.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
All right,
right.
Kent.
Thanks, guys.
You're very welcome. Thank you for calling in. 303-477-5600. Mike, you're up next.
Yeah, hi.
Hello, Mike.
I have a 1987 Saab 900 turbo, and it was sitting for a while because I had some clutch issues. I replaced the clutch master cylinder, and when I went back to try and start it, it would crank over, and it would start, and then die instantly, and then crank forever. Finally get it to start after, putting the pedal all the way down to the floor, and I'd have to really keep in it to keep it running. And then as it stayed running on its own, it would kind of go up and down and idling, you know. So I don't know if that's a bad gas issue, but I drained all the old gas and put some gas treatment in and put new stuff in.
It's possible that it is. It's also possible that that it's got something with the engine management side of the fence. And in '87, those were not as they were not as user friendly as they are today. Is probably the best way to say that. Somebody that understands Saabs is going to have to get in there, look at it, and try to figure out what's going on. What part of town are you in, Sedalia?
Sedalia, Castle Rock. Yeah.
Probably the closest is going to be Dennis out in Extreme in Parker.
Okay.
Okay, just drop it by there. Have those guys look at it for you.
All righty.
All right, Mike. Appreciate it very much. Let's go to the next one, which is David up in Loveland. What's going on?
Well, I've got a 2004 Honda Civic, and when I unlock the car with the remote, within a minute or so, it automatically relocks. Over the time I've had this car, it's continually causing problems when you're either getting groceries out or getting stuff in it for work. It'll relock, then the doors will swing shut. I've locked the keys in several times. I was wondering if there's a way to disable that feature.
Ooh, I don't know if there's a way to disable it. I'm trying to think.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's
without looking at the car. I don't know if you can. And that almost sounds like there might be an actuator problem in there somewhere, that the actuator still sees that it's closed. It's not opening all the way fully. Right. It's possible. You'd almost have to look at that car, to be honest with you, to find out what's going on. Because some reason it's getting a signal saying to lock the doors again.
Right.
And so it's not either getting a full signal to unlock them all the way, and one of the things is hanging up, one of the solenoids, so it kicks it back and makes it lock back again.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, a minute. It's pretty regular. It's not like it never unlocks. It just
does it do it pretty consistently, where a shop could actually look at it and see, see it doing it? Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
perfect.
every time. Yeah.
Does it have an aftermarket alarm on it?
No, it's
It's all factory.
Everything.
Okay, perfect.
Everything on its factory.
Head up to Demir's up on the north side of Longmont. They're closest to you as far as who we've got in our group with us here. Demir's Automotive. They're up on North Main in Longmont. Go talk to Marv and have him take a peek at it.
Okay.
Okay, this is one of those that over the radio is extremely difficult to try to figure out. So see what you can do that way. All right, we got lines open. Probably could take one or two more phone calls. 303-477-5600. So the email that we got in. Driving in four-wheel drive on a snowy road and the road turns to dry pavement. Do I need to stop and take the car to four-wheel drive, or can I continue in four-wheel drive for a little while? You can for a little while, but dry pavement on an 01 Xterra, I would take it out of four-wheel drive.
Yeah, take it out.
Because it's just that system doesn't have much leeway as far as give in the transmission transfer case area, the drivetrain, I should say. You're better off to go ahead and take it out of four-wheel drive.
Yes.
Agree, guys?
Yes.
Dry pavement, take it out of four-wheel drive.
Okay. All right. So the cost of owning a car. Let me get back to this. We got a line coming in, 303-477-5600. I did want to get to this real quick. So what does it cost really to drive a car? As I said earlier, depreciation and fuel are your biggest expenses. 48% for depreciation, 24% for fuel, 11% for interest if you buy the car over a 5-year loan, 4% for taxes, 10% for insurance. Guess what maintenance and repairs is, guys? 4%.
Really?
So everybody always is screaming about the cost of repairing their vehicle. At the end of the day, that's one of the cheapest things. It and taxes are the same. You're paying more money for fuel, depreciation, insurance. Those four items make up the bulk of what it costs to own your car. Everybody thinks it's the maintenance costs that are so high. No. It's all the others.
You know, and it makes a lot of sense because like when we're doing something, you know, I have the tow company, and when we're doing like we had a contract with a certain company, and we had to look at all those factors when we were making a decision if we wanted to keep dealing with them, because we were finding out we were losing money.
Yep.
Because we also had to throw in the salary of the tow driver and other things.
So annual cost of car ownership, and this is average across all states. Some are higher and lower. Gas $985, insurance $884, repairs $354 for a total of $2,224. Now that doesn't even include the depreciation side of the fence that's included into that, or taxes. So your cost of ownership is even more than $2,200 a year if you're buying a car, you know, on a 5-year basis, like what this little article. And I'll put this up on our Facebook page so you can actually see it. Let's go to Serena, who's up next. Serena, welcome.
Hi, John.
How are you?
I just wanted to add a comment.
Sure.
That
Go right ahead.
a long time ago, I read in some kind of trade magazine that when you jump a car that has a computer in it, you should leave off the negative terminal of the jumper cables, because that's what can mess up the cars. And it sounded like one of your callers had a mess up from a jumper cable.
No, what he had was they were taking the alternator off and had the wire that goes to the alternator, the power wire, was loose. They went to move the car inside, and that sparked and arced against something of a negative ground in the system, thereby blowing a fuse in it, is what happened. But to your point, you do have to be very careful when you jumpstart cars. Our recommendation on new cars is don't even jumpstart them. Have a battery box that you can actually have with you. Those have a built-in protection where if the cables ever get hooked up backwards, it doesn't allow things to get shorted out. So to your point, yes,
box?
They're called a battery. They're called a jump box.
Yeah, and Napa stores have them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're under $100.
It's the best way to go. Do not use jumper cables anymore. They're just a thing of the past.
I still have standard transmission.
Yep. A lot of people. Some people still do. That's okay.
That's good.
I would rock it if I got stuck in the snow.
Yeah, you can on a manual.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. Serena,
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for your phone call. We're running out of time. Let's go to Ivan, who's up next. Ivan, welcome. What's going on?
Hi, I have a 2011 Toyota Venza, and it's got the automatic windows on the driver's side.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, when you try and pull the window up, using the automatic feature, it wants to go down. I have to stop it in order for it to go back up again.
Okay. And has this just started, or has it been doing this for a while?
It's been doing it for a few months.
I would venture to guess it's either got some sort of a module problem or potentially something in the switch, in the master switch.
There could be the wire problem coming to it, because
Could
those
be too.
doors in the doors, something could happen with the wires inside that feed from the body going to the door.
Yep.
And something could have happened there too.
Okay.
Because what it's seeing is it uses the same power wire though, and it just it reverses the ground.
Yep.
So yeah, it could be a ground problem too.
Okay.
That's something that you're going to actually have to have a technician look at. You just can't really say this is it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Appreciate it very much. All right, guys, with that's probably our last call of the day. Thank you all so much for calling in. We'll see if we can drag Scott. You want to drag Scott in real quick, Larry, or let me just tell him what's going on? Let's just drag Scott in real quick. Dennis Brewster from Extreme is going to step out for a moment and let Scott jump in. So, Dennis, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it very much. Scott, what is coming up on Sportsman of Colorado? We're going to let him get his headset on and tell us what's going on.
Here you are. Right there.
There we go.
Well, John, thank you first of all. And today we have a really good guy on that I met at the International Sportsman's Expo, Chris Rowe. He's a certified wildlife biologist. Rethinking the Rut is a seminar that he does all around Colorado, Wyoming. So very good. I watched some videos on it this morning, and it's going to be a pretty cool segment.
Very cool.
And have Doug Miller in from Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. We'll be talking about the upcoming banquet, March 28th. And that's going to be at the Westin Hotel in Broomfield. So listen for more
And
information.
your pen
on
guy's
that.
coming on today.
And Alan Stack Optical.
That's the coolest pen ever, by the way.
I'll have to get you one with a steering wheel.
Those are
on it or
awesome.
something,
Those are
you know?
awesome.
Yeah. And but Alan Stack Optical. And then, boy, our guys at Hunting Legends Africa gave us a terrific special. We're going to be talking about less than $4,000 for 7 days in South Africa with
That's
4
awesome.
animals.
That's awesome. Very cool. Yeah. Well, again, Sportsmen of Colorado, they come up right after us on Drive Radio. It's a great hour. It's a great addition to what we do on Drive Radio. So all you sportsmen and outdoor guys, please stay here. Don't turn that dial. Just hang on, and he'll be up in just a few minutes right after the news. But, guys, with that, Jeff Kitty from Larry's, thank you so much. Dennis Brewster from Extreme, who's actually behind me. You can't tell that, but Larry Younger on the other side of the glass. Matt Matulik, our engineer. Guys, thanks so much. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, and I'll be back here on Monday at 3 o'clock for your evening drive, Rush to Reason. But Drive Radio will be back next week. God bless you. Have a great weekend. I'm John Rush, Drive Radio, KLZ 560.
You're wasting all my time, 'cause when you're standing so near